as we get a nice little downside move right there. Your boy nailed this one, and boy, oh boy, Apple today, American Eagle Outfitters, Amazon, all great names there. Too bad we didn't hold on to Tesla, but we'll see if we can get that one again. But it's Amazon, it's AEO, man, and there it is right there. Make sure you do check the sticky note every single day except for tomorrow, because
and
we ain't in.
Rook 78, I have been waiting for Taco Day.
Yeah.
Because famously around here, the very first time, we've had catered lunch here on the trading floor for years. And the first time ever in like 20-something years that tacos were here, I happened to have the day off. And so we're rectifying that today. Hopefully they're delicious. Hopefully we get the tacos with the salad lunch. Otherwise, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed.
We will not.
Steal some from the back.
Apple is
We might get them. But look, obviously everybody will be back at 2 o'clock. Right now you got the professor in DLTH.
Let's go.
You've got Joey options, short the TQQs. And go get them, gentlemen.
Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And welcome everybody to this fantastic Thursday. It is raining up a storm outside, but that ain't gonna put a damper on my move, baby, because we're flying hot today, baby. There's a lot good going on. We'll get to it as we go on to the show. Let's go. Let's talk about Adam DeLuce. We got Blackhawk, Bot Ricks. We even have Nightbot joining us. Joseph. That's not a real person. Shout out to Custom ATR. Shout out to Other Zinc and KC526. BD Gaming, baby. A lot of gaming going on that side of the screen. We got Michael J. Moss, Party P. We got Fluffy Hippo. Fantastic name. Brian 2532. We got JC. We got Jacques. Will Fishing. Shout out to Sunder Garden. All right, Kirk D, let's go. We got Britt Brendan and Yusuf. Oh my God, my cousin's in the chat. Shout out to Fake Stock and Bray G Talk. We got Silver Doable? Do Blue. Oh, Silverado Do Blue. Silverado Blue. I got it. Grant. We got Frank's Trades. Grunfield. Who else, man? Throw in your name if you're new. Neil. And we got RFOX 1965. Kid. Easy Media 100. Shout out to everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. It's been real pleasurable to be on the floor today. And here we go again, Assassino. DLTH. It feels like this one's being crowned with the king of the small caps today. We were long here at 420, getting in, getting out on this one, trying to add on to the winners instead of adding on the dollar cost averages into an oblivion. And so we're going to keep an eye on this one. We're looking at for the next Beakwetter 60s. My next area where I'm going to add, I'd like to be able to add into that volume weighted average price 410, 411. Let's see if it comes down into those areas. Taking some scalps into the top, but there's a lot going on, Joseph. Show them what you got, baby. I
got nothing here, and it's not looking too good here for your boy on the short in the TQ. So if I lose this trade, that's it. I'm done for the day. So we're gonna catch a shutdown, and I don't remember the last time that happened.
Barely.
But it is what it is at the end of the day. Thursdays. Yeah, I want to show you guys this actually before, right? I was talking with a couple of my trading buddies, and yeah, so this is why you statistically keep things. So Thursdays, not my day. Fridays, we rock and roll. Wednesdays, we rock and roll. But Thursdays, for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's just not one of the best days right there. So yeah, let's see if we can get a little bit of a pullback. But if not, then we're going to get the old SD, which isn't the best feeling. But hey, it's part of the game. If you want to try to put on some size, then that's what happens. That's ETHA 0 for 3 on that one. AEO we traded as well. Shout out to Sharif on that. So that's pretty good. Still up 27% on the day, so not horrible. Tried that long there, didn't work out. And then AAPL. AAPO. Okay, that's. I love it when that happens. Come on, you can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, and there we go. We tried another long here on Apple, which unfortunately didn't work out for us. And then now we're just building into this TQ's position to see if we can get a move back down towards the volume weighted average price. So yeah, let's see what we can get going. This is going to be the primary target. let's see if we can get there or not, Sharif.
All right, guys, DLTH, we got that 10 at. In fact, what did I get there? I actually got 18s. I didn't quite get 10s. Not fast enough for that, but it's going to have to hold VWAP. And what's happening now is that VWAP and the 10 EMA are intersecting. So if it loses that specific price area, that's going to be the end of the trade. Why else would I be in this trade? I mean, I'm not going to trade this below the 10 and VWAP. And there's a seller here at 31. Let's see if we're able to shake that seller. There it is, up into 33 as we go. Let's see, we got a nice position on. Let's take a little bit more over here. And we're going to set up now in the high 30s, low 40s. See if we can get that beak wetter showing me 35s. We got 24s on now. DLTH is the ticker I'm looking at. I'm going to be looking incrementally at my top screen. You guys know that I've been using the top screen as my 5-second chart to spot those areas of support and resistance. There's a seller at 35. And 35 was a previous area of resistance, or sorry, support. Now it's acting as resistance. So be on the lookout for the seller at 35. We are putting higher lows though into that 35 penny area. So prior area low 415, and then it was 422s, and now it's 27s. So let's see if we're able to kind of put those higher lows and take out that 35 penny area where the sellers are hanging out. Let me show you what I'm looking at there. So there is the 35 area of support, and there we go up into 35, and we lose and we reject it as resistance. So be on the lookout here. DLTH now doing the dance with absolutely no underwear or pants at this volume weighted average price. So we'll wet the beak there as we've got 19s on, but definitely, yeah, this one's gonna have to hold this area. Otherwise, I'm gonzino. There's others as well. There's SKBL. So this one's not as aggressive of a mover, but it's up 23%. Not a bad look on this one. Kind of bull flagging a little bit. Has found a whole bunch of support at VWAP, basically from 1040 onwards, but it is putting in lower highs. So be on the lookout for a possible end to the trend there, quite frankly. NEGG, NEGG, we've been seeing this one umpteen amount of times. This one's got support here. It looks at 35. You had an area of resistance earlier on NEGG at 35, and you also have VWAP there looking to act as support. So that one looks like it flipped from the area of resistance, now that area of support on NEGG. New egg, baby. Keep your eye on that. Joseph, we got AQST as well. Again, this is up 18 3/4, but it's not that strong and it's not doing too much volume. In fact, when you look at the volume profile on this one, it is declining. So be on the lookout for that. NBY. This is a decent one here. And it's got a very, very respectable pattern that really hasn't been breached. The 10 EMA has been like a dang magnet on NBY. Anytime this one pulls back, it's pulling back into the 10 EMA and it's finding buyers. It's up 30.1% with a high of day 360, showing 350 right now. It does look like that seller is coming in at 350 because you only have a wick into that 360. What I do like about this one is you're putting in higher lows in anticipation of that 50 penny break and take. So probably behooves us, Joseph Options, to load up NBY on set side chart. And we're gonna do it freaking live. Ooh. And it's not on the Nasdaq. Is it on the New York? The answer to that is no. It is on the MX exchange.am. So you need MX permissions for that, but we're gonna have to digress. Boom! Into the high. Again, DLTH. Let's keep, we got 19s down. Wow, bro, this thing is crazy. Just dropped from 42 into 19s. I know. Assassino, it moves quicker than you can say, how do you do? That's why we're using these resting orders, because I'm just not quick enough to pick these up. So that's the situation right now. We're going to keep tabs on that, but it is losing the bid there, so we have to stop out below 4. We gave back a little bit on it, so we will go negative on that one. So we'll try to do a little bit better next time. It did lose VWAP. It did drop into 394, so we'll look to do a little bit better on the next trade. Joseph Options.
Good look there, brother. So here it is in some of the big names. You can see that we have Apple trading below. We have Google trading below, starting to climb back higher. Amazon trading below. The volume weighted average price is obviously what I'm referring to. And then you have NVDA starting to head in towards that level. But then you have the likes of Microsoft and Meta holding up pretty strong. And then you can see when Amazon catches a little bounce, it's dragging the market alongside up with it. So yeah, there goes Amazon. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. Some of these big names relatively strong and helping hold up the overall market. So yeah, this may not work out. It probably won't at the end of the day, but we'll still hold on. We'll stay confident to see if we can get that move back towards the volume weighted average price. Volume profile slowly starting to cool off, but there is some indecision prints at the lows that can signify, hey, maybe we're just going to continue this grind higher, and that's going to be this hammer candle right here on the spot. And then we're also going to take a look at what's cooking up on the Qs. So the reason why I'm continuously holding on to this is that you can see through this, as we're starting to climb higher, the volume really started to kind of cool off as you're starting to appreciate in price. So I'm like, all right, maybe we will get that pull back into the volume weighted average price, considering this pre-market high has been somewhat of a headache for the Nasdaq, and then also this high of the day. So you didn't even get into this on this previous move. So if we get the lower end of the range and even the volume weighted average price, I think we're going to be all right here. So gonna have to be extremely patient, and yeah, I'm getting really aggressive on this trade, looking for that move into that specific level. So patience is a packing, and yeah, that's what we got going on. Let me pull up one more thing before I send it back to you, my friend, because I know you're going through it. I mean, that's going to be the top performing sectors. Let's go with that and and see what we have there to see, hey, where is the money flowing in? And it's in this consumer discretionary, being led by the likes. Oh, I thought it was Amazon. Yeah, so some strong works in Amazon. Haven't looked at Tesla this morning either. Second place, we have the financials, continuous strength. We'll pull up XLF in a moment. And then the industrials in third place. Bottom three are the tech, utilities, and materials. But one thing I really want to look at, oh, let's go, Sharif. Hold on here. I'm going to send it.
Baby?
We're at VWAP here. I'm going to send it to you, my friend.
Take your time.
Oh, yeah, please. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. NBY, keeping an eye out on this one. So this one is coming back into that 340 area. So let's set up an entry on this. So here's 348. We're a skosh below 50. We're going to go long here. We're going to set up into 42s, 41s. I can't really tell where the 10 EMA is. Let's front run it at 45 in any event. And we do have an area of resistance at 335. It's between 335 to 340. That's where we spiked out and made that bull flag looking shape. There's the beginning of the pull, there's the top, and it feels like the breakout area is 335 because that's where the closing prints were. Assassino, brother, I don't know why the position board is not showing my my positions, but we're in NBY right now. We're long at 49s. Let's see if this one pops up. I'm going to put a beak wetter at 56. We still didn't get that ad, though. DLTH is not out of the equation. So it is back above the volume-weighted average price. It's about 412, 413, and in that area, it's got a hammer candle, but it's preceded by a candle of indecision, a doji candle, which turned red. So I don't know exactly how I feel about this one. Let's see if it gets above that $0.25. Let's give this a little bit of time to see if it wants to get about that $0.25. It's being bought up aggressively right now. Look at this candle. I mean, it basically has no body. It's just one big lower wick as the body closes a little bit lower, or sorry, goes a bit higher into that opening print where it opened at about 420. So right now it's showing 17s, 19s, 20. There it is. Now this candle's green. Oh my goodness. It's still a lower high, believe it or not. We're going to have to give this a lot of room if we want to get into DLTH because it's already shown you it's a propensity to breach VWAP and then quickly reclaim it. So if I want to base my trades on technicals, I have to wait to about 445, 443 because that's where the previous candle high was, right here, right where we got out. So I don't know what to make of this one right now, quite frankly. It's up 78%. It's got all the volume, 37.5 million shares. Let me know when you want to talk.
No, I was going to say, yeah, give you the thumbs up there. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, that we're thankful for that. Fortunately, it started to work out. But I just went into cover mania because, yeah, Sharif, I was on the precipice, as you would like to say, of getting SD, and I don't like that. Yeah, well, honestly, Andre, give me a second here, brother, please, and thank you. Yeah,
I'll do it,
Andre. Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, man.
Brother.
Thanks. So yeah, that's what we got cooking here. It's working out really well, and I'm glad that it is. Otherwise, then this was going to be my last trade if we did make an additional leg higher, and then you end up taking losses substantially bigger than what you intend to, and that's not the objective here, right? We want to continue and maintain everything within our risk measures and make sure that we set positive examples. Because what I just did right there, I wouldn't highly suggest continuously doing, especially if you have key and tight risk measures, which I used to at home, and even here. And I'm saying they're necessarily tight, but you need to keep them in check because you don't want to have those oversized losses that are going to just eliminate your week or your month. So yeah, that's what we had going on there. and see if we can breach it. The dump in Meta and Microsoft helped contribute to this, so that was pretty good. Now the averages moved up, but yeah, we got really, really super aggressive at this. Like, yeah, I'm not even gonna display it or anything along those lines, but yeah, another move back into. I like what Sharif says there. I gotta post up, right? You gotta have those resting orders for profit takers here. But now that my average is up here, we have a little bit of room to work with. So if we don't continue this trajectory to the top side, then I think we'll be okay for somewhat of a breach below the volume weighted average price, which is gonna work out relatively well. Positions boards back up, good stuff there.
Good to go,
yeah, so good stuff. And one more thing, Sharif, I want to take a look at American Eagle Outfitters options chain, because I think there's going to be a lot to talk about. Well, obviously there's going to be a lot to talk about this retailer come the news time. So there's nothing substantial on this week's expiration cycle. Other than at this, yeah, so nothing at 15. At 15 has the highest. Or sorry, I'll eat those words quick. 14 has the highest amount of open interest, so that's nothing crazy. We're already north of that, and you're underwater if you're short those calls. So not a good time. Or if you're long those calls, you're underwater there. But
It's going to be an interesting one there. All right, guys, keeping my eye here on NBY. Here we go. We're into 64. We're showing 64 on the level 2 ask side, 63 on the bid. We're not crossing, so we're not getting the print, and there it is. NBY breaking out, guys. This one is quite strong. It hasn't lost the 10 EMA on the 5 all day, okay? From 9:30 onward, since I want to say it claimed it at 9:35, and there it is. It's a 69 area high. It's time to get out of this stock. No, I'm kidding. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Here we go. Now it's a 70 penny high. NBY, I'm not going to call it the one because, you know, these ones have a way of making you look bad when you start calling them the one or the good one or anything like that. But we're showing 72s now. I'm posting up at 77s. What do we have on? We got 49s on. Very upset that I didn't get that ad. It was very close to getting triggered. I could have moved it up. I didn't. That's on me. Don't be a schmuck like me. Move up your orders when it's warranted to do so. So showing 73s now. That is the high of the day, but we're working our way, it feels like, possibly into that $4 area. As this one gets more aggressive, and by that I mean percentage up on the day, you're going to have a lot more eyes on it as it works its way up the scanner on a lot of people's scanners, like mine, for example. It's moved up substantially from where it was. So, you know, as the price action moves up, you're going to get short interest as well. The mean reversion trader is going to be looking to take this. Now, we got a topping till candle here, so we got to be careful. Topping till candle into 73. Now we're down into 55s. So we got to be careful with this one. Prior bar low takes us to 47s. We're long at 49s. I'm putting my stop at 45, so let's go ahead and put that right there. And we're not going to allow it to give. Okay, there we go. We got stopped out on that one. So we'll give back a little bit on that. No worries. Let's see if this is the right area to go long. That's the 10 EMA. On the 5 right there, I'm going long again on this one, and I'll DCA into the volume weighted average price into 27s or 30s. We got 42s on now. Let's set up here for a possible pop back up into that area high. I'm talking about NBY, guys. Keep your eye on this one.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, guys, I took off like 70% of the position, and then it's like, okay, you get this move, and then it just bounces right back up. So, this is, I don't know, all you can do is chuckle at the end of the day, as frustrating as it may seem. And I mentioned it in the chat, the amount of unrealized gains that I give back sometimes is just like, oh my. So yeah, let's see what the crypto space is up to. ETH, oh my days. No, this is not good. It's getting smoked today. Yeah. Oh my God! Here's another one, man. That's just like, oh yeah. I don't know. It's crazy stuff, man. What a crazy. So yeah, and there you go. Bitcoin probably south of 110,000 there. Now it heads to $62. Why are we selling? Hopefully we rip come FOMC, but there it is. IBIT heading towards some key support levels, so looking like it's going to break down further. And then ETH. same thing. I might just have to hop out because I can't allow my position to give away the amount of unrealized that I have there. And then I think I'll be a good opportunity to get back in, considering if September is going to be somewhat of a bearish month, then I think maybe around the lows we'll be able to kind of get in at a better price. I don't know if it's going to be my exact same entry price, but I have to sit here and be like, am I willing to just close it and accept the fact that, hey, the chances of me closing it, I have the risk of obviously it's going to climb the next couple of days. So, yeah, it's tough decisions, man. That's one thing that's really hard about swing trading and obviously intraday trading as well too. Is getting out. I know Sean was talking about it yesterday. He's like, yeah, the only time you really get mad is when you sell, but at the same time you get mad when you don't sell when you're supposed to and then buy back in. So, yeah, it's a management game, Sharif, and it's a tough one for sure.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's a psychology game too.
It's so crazy.
If you think like, oh, I'm just going to be a robot. I'm going to stick to my rules. Sometimes, just things happen and you find yourself on the ropes. And I've just been there. Who hasn't, bro?
Yeah.
So let's keep an eye out. Now I'm keeping my eye on NBY. Here we go. Posting up 47s, 48s. We have 43s on. We just took a couple of beak wetters there. Looking for this to defend the 10 EMA. It's got a very, very big, weird-looking candle that closed the prior bar. It's a candle of indecision. It is south of the 50 penny area right now. Let me just load this up. Pardon me. Where is my NBY thing? Over here. I just want to put the 5-second on this. NBY. There we go. Let's just put the 5-second on that bad boy so we can get a better look. Okay, so now it's rejecting. It was actually using the 50 on the 5, and now it's actually rejecting it. Let's see if the higher low is when it's going to be operable here. Here's what I'm looking at, guys. So it kind of looks like a bear flag, but it's also putting in these higher lows. So let's see if we can get above the 50. It was kind of using the red line as support at times. I've been watching this for a while. Red line, which is the 50 EMA, typically acts as support. Now it's kind of using it as resistance. So definitely need to be alive to that fact. Let's take out a little bit over here, see if we can get printed on that. So not a bad look right now on NBY, but definitely looking for a lot more and a lot higher. Don't want to be taking out some in the 40s when it's not warranted. So let's set up some resting profit takers on this. I don't see any other small cap gappers except LAWR. Oh, that's the one that Duluth brought me the other day. Otherwise known as All Class Adam. Shout out to Adam Duluth, baby, LAWR. Adam, this one's still running, man. It's got another bull flag on its hands today. I think you gave me this one a couple of days ago. This one took a day off yesterday. I had a big day on Tuesday. But having another decent day as LAWR, kind of at that $2.50 level, looks very bull flaggish, 259 high, seems to be finding a lot of support at the 10 EMA on the 5. So I'll keep tabs on that one. We had a big flat top break on LAWR last time, so it has a propensity to do that. So keep your eye out on that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so there goes the market starting to climb higher there, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just get out of there. I usually get out at the break even, but just looking at how much unrealized I had down here and then looking for this move back down, it's yeah. All right, let's move on to something else. Apple putting in a nice base, ace of base right there.
Oh.
So yeah.
I saw the sign.
Is that who sings that?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, bro, they have a catalog, bro. They were huge in the mid-90s, dude.
I didn't know.
Like
I saw this. I like that song.
And
I didn't know that was.
I saw the sign.
I didn't know that was them. No, good times. So nice level holding up at 237 flat. Let's see what we got on the chain here in AAPL there, guys, because that is holding up relatively strong, and that's something that is like, okay, what's up there? We got to take a look at what the options chain is up to, and that is going to be AAPL at 237. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Nothing crazy. All right, so maybe the options market isn't going to tell us anything. That's where Bookmap comes into play. 23,300, 14,000 right here, 29,000 at 240 put side. No specific wall. Like, look how low that open interest is right there. So, yeah, volume actually maybe not too bad, 23,000 volume, okay, so somewhat justifiable, but you can see we're at the 240 strike. We have 90,500 shares, our contracts traded on the session with 29,000 still currently open, which is very interesting. And then if you go down to 225, it's looking like max pain on AAPL right here at that 225 strike price, 34,300 contracts. So look for that level to hold, and I think there's a good chance that it's going to. Now, what do I do? Considering I was aggressively heavy on this one, I'm not going to DCA. I'm just going to wait for that potential pullback towards the volume-weighted average price. It's a choppy session, right? Volumes are relatively low, and I think we're going to have the opportunity to just kind of bounce around, ebb and flows, highs, lows, try to sell the highs, buy the lows, etc. Guys, make sure that you sign up. You gotta put the dollar sign, not sign up, but dollar sign, and then the ticker that you guys want to see specifically on the rundown. Do you have it up there?
I'm gonna load it up and keep it up permanently.
Keep it up.
Joey.
Keep it up.
So we're just gonna take this off over here. Give me 1 second to load that bad boy up. Here it is, Joey.
Okay, good
stuff. So guys, there it is.
There it is. Bang. The visualizer. Thank you, Assassino, for reminding us on that one. Good stuff there. And let's see what we can get going on. Let's see what's going to lead the race today. What is leading the race today there, Sharif?
Oh, yeah. Let me have a look. We got to post this up on all desktops,
Open.
Joey.
It looks like open.
It's open, then your friend Tesla.
Oh,
baby.
Yeah, dang. And American Eagle up there as well, too. So shout out to them.
You know what this guy did yesterday?
Right.
Unbelievable. So as soon as he started sniffing that American Eagle was going to do well, I'm assuming he was doing some TA because he was onto it, okay? And then, so yesterday, I'm telling him, because he was crapping all over me for my AEO. He was. Joseph, come on, you're not us guy, right? He was crapping all over me about this AEO trade a few weeks ago. And then, yesterday, he's like, I'm like, Joey, AEO reports after the bell today. Yeah. I'm like, if it does well, I'm going to be dancing all up on this day. And then you know what? He's like, no. We love AEO. And then yesterday they report after the bell, the first person to message me, that guy right there, Joseph Options, same words.
Let's go.
We love AEO, baby. I was like, oh my God, Joseph, this is hilarious.
No, it's all funny games.
Good vibes, bro. All good.
Funny games.
We're having a good time, guys.
With these mag names holding up relatively well, Sharif. Ether getting somewhat of a bounce, maybe this indecision print. I don't want to let go of it at the lows here, so maybe we get a little bit of a bounce into this resistance zone. And then I think I've made my mind up. I'm going to sell a little bit in my swing account there. Adair, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye here on Soundhound, SOUN, getting a nice little spike here as James Altucher apparently released a note saying that they could potentially be the target of a takeover. James Altucher runs a newsletter mostly about potential takeovers. I find a lot of his notes tend to be about that, but either way, SOUN getting a nice pop on that. This CEA Myron hearing is still happening with regards to his nomination to be in the Federal Reserve, replacing Adriana Kugler. There are a couple other nominees here as well for other positions. Just listening to that, I'll let you guys know if anything massive is happening, but you can also check out where the position board is. I've been putting headlines there when things of note are being said. Back to you.
All right, shout out to Adam again, man. We took LAWR. We've got the beak wet there at 63s, coming back down though. So now what I'm trying to see is, I'm just gonna pick it up off key technical areas again. This one seems to trade in that way. Last time though, we got a pretty aggressive flat top break. Now we got a new high a day. We got 65s, it's not bad on LAWR, but it's not as aggressive as it was on Tuesday, I think. So gonna keep an eye out on that. Also keeping an eye here on DLTH. So this candle got everybody in. So we've made the first 5-minute candle make a new high, the current candle that is, but it's ending up as a topping tail. So it feels like the shorts are still in control even though we broke trend of these lower highs. Let's see if this one can catch a bid. What's the current candle low? So current candle low right now is 17s. I'm going to get in here. I'm just going to give it the current candle low. So if it ends up holding up, fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Didn't let me in. All right. So we're going to go 16s. It'll probably stop me out immediately. Probably. Yeah. There it is. There it is, Jill. Right away. Right away. Straight to Jill. Straight to Jill. And then pop right back up. All right. So we're not doing as well today with execution. So maybe we should give this one a little bit more patience right now with DLTH because it's not complying like it was a couple of days ago. So yeah, that's that DLTH trade, right in, right out. Didn't give it enough room, but it's a candle of indecision, so I really don't know how to interpret it. I'm going to let this one chill out, and then if it sets up in a bit of a better way, we'll get involved. Let's take a possible beak wetter here on a new high day on LAWR, waiting at 66s now. High of the day is 65, so looking for that bad boy. But there goes NEGG. So NEGG, oops, breaking out as well. Still lower highs, though, so be on the lookout for a 37 sell. There's NEGG, was just at 34.31. And then in a 1 5-minute candle, right up to 37. When you look at it, though, we're still kind of generally putting in lower highs. Sure, the wick gets up there, but look at the current area. If it was to close, we'd be a lower high as well. So NEGG up 17, and 2/3. But definitely a little volatile as well, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's take a look at those clues. I'll take a look at those names for you. So I'm not just hyper-focused and zoned in on what I got going on here. Just got to let things work. Yeah, well, okay, I was going to say Red Rock Resorts. Here it is. Obviously, from an intraday standpoint, yesterday there was a lot of liquidity, and then today that's just absolutely all gone. So that's kind of weird. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, to be honest with you. So yeah, there's liquidity here. But then when you go over to here, it's completely dried up. But let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. That's going to give us a much better gauge here. From those April lows, Kalua, looking pretty good, 76%, so not bad. I know you're running around Vegas all the time, and that's why you mentioned it. So, I mean, you want to get in on some of these dips. You don't want to be buying highs. You're only a couple percentage points off of this previous peak. So I would let it cool off a little bit more. 5-10%, I think, is when you want to start slowly allocating shares. That's just me personally. And then you look for potential bounces. And then who else? Neon, bro, give your boy. Oh, I can't give him old Jabski. He's in on Neon. That's all right. It's good.
What happened?
I said someone give my boy a jab for Neon. Were you trading Neon today?
Me?
Yeah.
Who's saying that?
Somebody
saw it. Neil mentioned it.
Yeah. Look at it.
It's just coming from the depths of hell, though.
Look at it.
Like,
yeah.
That's not typically my move, but I see the curl back up. Yeah, respectable curl.
For sure. Yeah, big time curl up over there. But I mean, look at this gap down here on the daily. That's not good. You're dropping from that close there. 81%. Yeah, right. That's crazy. Yeah, I've never even. That's insane. 81%. Man, oh, you're having a bad day if you're an owner of that name, regardless of what happens throughout this bounce. That is not a good time, if you ask me. And then traded return at 3 p.m. for some blood. Yeah. Let's see what we got going on there. Yeah, put some other names in the chat, guys. Make sure you vote as well, too. We're still sitting in this trade here. Average is going to be 90 flat, so we're 10 cents out of the money currently. And again, primary target, the volume-weighted average price. One thing that's kind of scaring me right now is going to be Amazon. So you can see this opening drive really strong. And then even in yesterday's post-market, it starts to rally. So something going on here. And then sure enough, 5-minute drive, extremely strong, volume supporting it. Now you're forming this bull flag. Watch out just in case it decides to take another run and attempt for the high. It's going to drag the Qs up with it. And I'm short, so bad time. Adara, what do you got for us?
We're going to start this crypto segment by looking at a very beleaguered crypto stock today. That is MSTR Strategy, as they're now known, of course, led by Michael Saylor. Now, this stock is on watch because it's one of many companies that has been accumulating crypto. Now, Strategy has been doing this a lot longer than most, but we know lately there's been a glut of companies, a lot of them in the small cap space, announcing that they're going to be adopting crypto strategies. Apparently 124 so far this year have made these announcements, so very notable. Some of these include Ethereum treasury strategies like BMNR and SPT. Well, the information reported that Nasdaq apparently is going to be moving to require shareholder approval before these companies can issue shares for crypto purchases. Now, this is being viewed as a concern by the crypto industry because they're now, I guess, worried here about these delays with their strategy. They want to be able to start accumulating this crypto right away, and now they're going to have to wait for that approval, which could put a little bit of a damper on that crypto stock growth. Apparently, firms that do not comply with this will be actually risking trading suspension or delisting. Now, apparently the Nasdaq did not reply to requests for comment from the information, but either way, interesting report here. If I get any more details, I will, of course, let you all know. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin here on this daily chart, we almost made a higher high on the daily. That would be the first notable higher high here on the daily from that most recent all-time high we made back on August 14th. Unfortunately, we were not able to eclipse that 113,600 level. We made a high yesterday around, about 1,000 points lower than that, 112.6. But as of right now, we haven't made a lower low yet either. So let's see what happens here. Will that 107,000 base that we formed later last week continue to serve as support, or will we break below it? Only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. As we send you back to the Bash Brothers, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to stay with us for all of this market content. Back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so thank you very much for that, Dara. Yeah, I honestly, I think the crypto space is gonna, for the month of September, I think we're gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. Well, maybe not, just pull back buying opportunities. But what I'm seeing displayed on this chart from Ethereum, not looking too good. So any bounce throughout the intraday session, I'm gonna sell half of my position, and then I'm just gonna let the other half run. I think there's gonna be some good buying opportunities, and some of the bigger names as well too. And guess what? If I sell half here and I buy anything south of $32, then we're going to be laughing and rocking and rolling there. My average is around 27.50, roughly to be exact. So not too bad. Again, don't want to be giving up too many unrealized gains. I sold a little bit around this neck of the woods or something along those lines, but missing on that peak. Which, again, you're not going to catch the complete top or the bottom. So now it's just complete trade management at this point. Now, let's see. Lumen. Yeah, let's take a look at Lumen for you. LUMN. Lumen Technologies, and see what it is up to. Okay, so not too bad. I think Sharif's traded this name a couple times before, considering the price range. Let's see what we got going on from a 5-minute. Ooh, okay, so this drive isn't, it's really tough in the pre-market. Opening drive, really nice. And if we zoom in and take a look at it from a 1 minute, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so the volume weighted average price doesn't like working on this chart anymore, but nice base there, hold in some of the pre-market levels, continue higher. You get that breath and then watch the volume cool down as you pull back, and then it steps back in as you start to go on the ascent. And then sure enough, you put in a new high, shallow pullback, and establish a new high. Liquidity is there, but obviously slightly scarce as well too. Nothing crazy from a volume standpoint, but if you're looking for a fill, I'm sure you will get it on that specific name. MP, is MP a buy? It's funny, I was actually looking at some of the material names here. I don't know if this is going to be a buy. I want to take a look at the daily. Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing, Sharif. You're breaking through necklines, heading to key support levels, which is say, hey, just be patient before you start. Yeah, exactly before you start.
That's the name that I had to be patient.
Yeah.
Before we weaseled
MP.
in.
And it's not bad. Yeah. Like, it's not a bad looker, right? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, from May.
It's extended, though.
Yeah, big time. Like 340% from May.
Exactly.
Wait, so when you experience a move like that, 340%, don't be surprised if you retrace half that or 40%, which you're down 25% right now.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Well said, Joey.
Yeah.
All right, guys, keeping an eye out on these names. We're still involved in LAWR. Just got stopped out again of DLTH, but we were able to scalp on this one, so don't take the full brunt. We got a nice pop up through the $0.50, but it was short-lived, and we made another lower low, losing that 30-penny area, so we'll give back a little bit on that. But Joey,
yeah,
I just,
yeah,
we got to remind you of some things.
Let's remind.
We're at ESCino.
Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican. I think her ad is fantastic. Okay.
Shares briefly hit their highest level since July 13th. The campaign featuring real American jeans that Sydney Sweeney was launched on July 23rd. Trump posted the ad on Truth Social, praising it with great jeans. We love American Eagle, he wrote. Sydney Sweeney.
All right, name one move.
I'm not done talking yet. I just love that it riles you up, bro.
You know what? I'm done, man. American Eagle breaks that $26 by the end of the year. I will buy you a pair of whatever Sydney Sweeney.
No, I was going to say you can buy them and you can make them into 4-inch shorts. For the you remember that? It took a little bit of time to get to it because it's a bit of a lengthy video, but we're not even close to 26. Let's just be honest.
No.
What are we at, 18, 17?
I mean, it's
like
not far compared to where it was sitting before, right? So there you go. You get that 50%.
It's not even that. No, we were like at 12 or something.
Yeah, like we went up to 18 bucks. Yeah, so there you go. That's a 50% pump almost right there.
But dude, they credited the whole thing here almost on Sydney. They didn't say Sydney.
Yeah,
they said their celebrity advertisement.
It boosted like the Travis Kelce and the thing.
Funny.
But you know what? We're gonna talk a little bit about that. So I don't want to show it too much on my hand there. But I mean, a good play, right?
Yes,
a lot of these these retail names, I think if you catch who's hot and then you can obviously promote them, it's good for you. But can you continuously do that? I think is one of the important things to note there. So yeah, there it is, guys. TQ is finally starting to work for us here. Bang, 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 bang. We'll take that one. Again, it just keeps getting bought up here, right? So just consistent higher lows, which isn't good. As long as the volume continues to stay cool, then I think we might be able to get into this lower end of the range. But best believe I'm going to have to sit through this grind in order to get those specific levels there, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Okay, focusing on NBY. Here we go. Looks like we're curling up a little bit here into that 40 penny area. Took a couple of beak wetters on that bad boy, but still definitely looking for a bigger move on NBY. It looks like it might be actually using the 10 EMA on the 5 now as resistance. We'll have to keep an eye out on this one. I did get in at the prior area of resistance. I'm talking about the top end of the bull flag. Momentary pop, but no follow through as of yet. So we're gonna have to pack my patience on that. LAWR took a bunch of this one out already. So let's see if, that's DLTH, excuse me. Where's LAWR? Took a bunch out on this one already. Still waiting for this one to come back and trigger, but it does feel like it might be using that 54 to 55 penny area now as an area of support. After using it, obviously, as resistance, because that was the top end of the bull flag there. Let's put a resting order to get a little bit more at 54s. That's what I'm going to do. Let's post up at 54s and see if we can get a print on that bad boy. But DLTH, man, it just keeps cutting me up. I don't have a right read on this. I mean, it's putting in lower highs. I try to pick it up off key levels. I either miss it or breaches those key levels. So I feel like I don't have a good read on this one, even though it is strong on the day. It's got a lot going for it. Volume, price action, chart patterns. I mean, it's obviously a bull flag or a bull pennant of some sort. Just haven't been able to execute as well as I'd like onto it. So we'll keep an eye out. I'm not going to give up on it because there's not too many other ones that are moving in this fashion today. So we'll pack our patience and keep an eye out on that, Joey.
Yeah, good look there. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, we're going Deontay here. We're just going to hold on to this position to target. It's either we're going to get stopped out or we're going to hit target. Keep it simple. Don't micromanage the position. Pathig, obviously, I'm being slightly sarcastic here. Obviously, a friend of ours as well, too. He told me it's a buyer's market. I said, Pathig, why didn't you tell me this earlier before I started shorting the Nasdaq? So that's what friends are for. At least they tell you. Better late than never. Obviously, we're being joking. But here we go, guys. Starting to cook. Let's go, man. I'm telling you, my brother. I'm telling you, I had the clock came up, man. I was on timer.
Yeah, I've been there, baby.
I was on timer, man. And then sure enough, we pulled a rabbit out of a hat. So thanks to everyone here. So, Joe, we're doing the same damn thing. Yeah, STS King, man. It is. But he's not wrong, right? Because you get these big moves to the downside, and then look what happens immediately after. It's like instantly after, it just gets bought right back up. And then again, when I'm trading the Qs, I have my eyes on the Magnificent Seven because of how much weight they carry. And I'm over here looking at Amazon being like, oh my days, you're giving me a headache. And then there it is, boom. Oh, look at it go. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'm not going to hold it for too much longer. Again, I took a lot of my losses off. And I'm going to obviously give some back here because I am slightly bag holding. So don't do that. Do not do that. And Google also looks like it wants to break up too. So you don't want to be participating in the shorts if some of these big boys really want to get the ball rolling here. And over the past couple of sessions, Google has done everything but not go to the downside, really. Oh. So there goes, boom, top side move, all day grinder yesterday. Pre-market relatively flat, you get this, and then sure enough, looks like it wants a breakthrough view up right now. But we want to keep an eye on the volume profile as well, too. Considering we are looking for a breakout, we do want the volume to slowly start to kick up as well. So packing patience, trying to stay somewhat logical, rational for whatever that may mean, and see if we can get it. But if it breaks through the high, I have to get out of this just to give myself somewhat of a breathing room and a couple opportunities to get back into this market.
All right, Joey, keeping my eye here on DLTH. Again, we're going to deal with this one with 4. I'm going to try to exercise a bit more patience on this one rather than just getting in and getting out a bunch of times. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Also looking for that add on LAWR, nothing doing. Keeping my eye also on NBY, seeing the seller there at 40s. It's not a random level that the seller's coming in. It's the 10 EMA on the 5. And we've been talking about this a lot more. Sometimes when you lose the 10 EMA, you start using it as resistance from the south to north side as opposed to using it as support. And the other way around. So that is of concern to me as well, but I should probably put some profit takers on this one over here and layer some orders for an upside move if we should get some. My out is going to be below this area of support right there, so right in the 370s. But there goes NBY. Okay, good. So this one popping up, taking out 40s momentarily, showing me 44s. What do we have on this one? 36s. We'll take another beak wetter there. No printing. Okay, no problem. We'll set up there. And we'll set up every couple of pennies or so on this and set up a little bit above the $0.50 as well. So NBY curling back up, couple of green candles here to make new highs, but nothing really too fantastic about this one. But we did get some nice prints to the high side. Why are you not playing Neon, Grunfeld? I don't know, brother. It's just not really my setup because it's down on the day. Typically, I just keep my eye on the ones that are gapping up. But this is not a bad look, man. I mean, it's fantastic. It's just, I'm going to stick to my rules. That's all. It's no comment on whether Neon is good or bad. It's fantastic. I mean, who could complain about going long at 330 and taking it all the way up to 7? It's a big winner. It's a over 100% winner. But it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm going to steer clear of it. But thank you for pointing it out. I'm going to keep my eyes on the ones that I got going on over here. Definitely looking for a little bit more here on LAWR. So where's my LAWR screen? Didn't get the ad there. So I'll have to pack our patience or move up the order. It looks like it came into 55s, and it did not print on that. So that's all I got, Joey. Yep. I don't know what you're looking at, brother, but those are the three that I've got.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like we're just kind of in the same mode right now, Sri. We got positions going on, and it's just like hyper focused. Let's go over a couple things here, because we obviously want to keep it entertaining as well, too. So anything specific on the chain? Also, let's take a look at do we have any big earnings tonight, Sharif?
I don't know.
Or what? Let's
probably
Adara's. Adara's got that idea.
Broadcom.
Okay, so there we go. One of the largest companies, the 8th, I think, in the $1 trillion club. Lululemon as well, too. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good lineup here that we got this evening. Broadcom, Lululemon, DocuSign, UiPath.
Crazy.
I'll take that all day. A nice B-listers right there with obviously Broadcom coming in there. Maybe we'll put Lululemon and A-lister too. Yeah, okay. So, not a bad look. And then what else do we got? Smith & Wesson. Shout out to them as well.
Boy.
So we got that. We got Smith & Wesson reporting after the bell today, guys. So. Pardon me? What did Neil say?
He just punned. He's like, he's fired up for those earnings.
He's fired up. Yeah, he's letting the round spit. Look at Apple here. Do we go long off of this? We took a long. I do like this print. The thing is, though, is that the volume's not necessarily supporting what we are looking for a potential long, but it's never mind that. It's a buyer's market, as my guy Pathik mentioned earlier, and I'm like, yeah, you're so right, brother. But here it is, though. If we take a look at this name from a daily standpoint, and we went through a couple examples, as soon as that trend line was breached, you're off to the races. So we'll go at the break of this trend to where we're currently trading at and get somewhat of a percentage metric on how much we're up. 10%. We'll take that all day. Okay. Yeah. We'll take that all day in Apple. And I mean, so we have Google putting in all-time highs. Out of the MEG, which ones haven't put in a new all-time high? Let's go through them. AVGO. Sorry, give me some time. Let's see. Bang, new all-time high from this previous one. I'm putting it in there, Sharif, because it's a $1 trillion company, not Tesla. I could have told you that for free. Amazon, Same thing with Amazon, Google. Google's there, right? So you get that big gap. You get that big gap up, and then we have the likes of NVDA. Still hovering, but breaking through previous all-time highs. And then we have the monster run that Microsoft went on, boom. And then you're still hovering around that. I think it's going to take some time in order for us to breach that level. And then we did Amazon already, META, boom. So not too far off of this. You're about 5%. Not too bad there, Sharif.
Okay, all right, guys. Keeping my eye here on DLTH. It's trying to hold this area, but it's not looking good. But NBY, kind of the opposite story. Got another profit taker there into 45s. Sorry, 45 set up at 47s now. Keeping my eye on that. We also got the ad finally on LAWR. Excuse me, wrong chart. At 54, so I'm gonna look for this area to hold, and I'll stop out anything below 50, because if I hold it into 50, then that's not really the move. That's not why I'm in this, right? I'm in this for the previous area of resistance to hold. That's that basically 54, 55. So if that doesn't hold, it ends my trade. Bovin is saying hour is moving up. Let's take a look at HOUR, see what that one's all about. What do we got? Oh, baby, this looks very similar to LAWR, where it has that kind of like seller in and around 170. It looks like generally high 160s, 170s, and then you get that breakout. What's the volume though on this, Bovin? 2.82 million on a 175 name. It's not bad. It's certainly better than some of the ones I've got on the side chart here, specifically AQB. So we'll switch from AQB into HOUR, and that one's earned its way onto the side chart over here. So let's throw that on there, and I'll monitor that one for a possible retest of a key level. So that's a good one there, Bovin. I like that. LAWR, we got the fill at 54s, happy about that. Now let's set up some profit takers possibly at these levels. Now that we've got a few more shares, we'll set up there and see what we get. Still keeping my eye on NBY. Still up 28%, holding trend, but the volume's dropped off substantially now on NBY. It has a 4-candle green setup, looking for a little bit more. We've set up at 47s. It's showing me 46s, no prints quite yet, but I'll pack my patience on this one. I'm definitely looking for a nice move up, possibly into that 60 penny area. That's where we're really topped out. So the high of the day is 73, but you could tell there was barely any price action above 55. So if we get price action above 55, that'll be telling in and of itself. And sustained price action, not just quick wicks. We already got quick wicks into that area. All right, let's look at LAWR. Beautiful. Nice profit taker there. Looking for the next one at 61s. So we got there it is. Beautiful. Good add on LAWR and good move up like that. I wish I could trade like that all the time, or stocks could act in this way all the time. Look at this, Joey. So that was
really nice.
Obviously a flat top break, so I got back a little bit more.
Oh, nice hold there. Resistance acting as support there. That's
and multiple too. Like it wasn't just one quick wick. So
nice trade.
Yeah, that's all I've got at the moment. Bovin saying POLA. Let's take another look here. Shout out to Bovin, my other pair of eyes, baby. POLA. POLA? Oh, baby. POLA coming back from the depths of hell. Went green to red, or no, almost red. It barely held on to Greensville there. Held yesterday's closing print at 219. And there you go. Wow, I did not anticipate that. Good call out, Bovin. We're going to take out SKBL, and we're putting POLA. It's fast and furious here on the midday, man. These small cap gappers, they move fast, and so do we. We have to. Otherwise, we get burned. So POLA, guys, 337 high. Volume weighted average price at 290. But I'd be looking for a buy at 3. Why? Couple of candle rejections there for the closes right at 3. It clears 3 by 37 pennies. To me, that's enough to use 3 as support. So this is a good call out, Bovin. Great call out, brother. Going to keep an eye out for a retracement into 3. If it doesn't continue higher highs and higher lows, because you've been getting that higher high, higher low pattern essentially since the taking of VWAP, the retaking of VWAP, I should say. That's my look, Joey. That's all I got.
Good look. Someone mentioned Lululemon. Yeah, breaking out here. Good call out there, guys. As Sharif was just trading his flat top break, you're seeing the exact same thing in Lululemon. So that's a pretty good look. Where are you? Oh, okay, I exited it. That's good stuff there.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Assassino, man. You got to cut me some slack once in a while.
No, man. He's there with the buttons, and he's going to make you feel and look bad. Shout out to Assassino, bro. I love it.
Obviously playing it. We're obviously joking around here. Yeah, there it is. Lululemon starting to grind higher. Leading into that earnings report, obviously there's plenty of time before we head into that actual earnings report. Oh, now you know, mathing. But I mean, if you look at this thing from a daily standpoint, oh my days, 52% haircut. So the stock is going to need to double just to get back to this specific price right here. So they better come out with a hell of a hot earnings report, even more from there, which is absolutely insane. 61%. 61% off of those December 2023 highs. So we're talking about retail names being a tough space. Let's take a look at American Eagle, actually, their daily to see what they're going up to. Oh, wow, beauty. What a beauty right there, Sharif. That is crazy. Nice. Did you hit the bang there?
No,
13. So there it is. Nice move. Market continuing to grind higher. I think it's just time for me to get out of this and just stop expending the mental capital waiting for this thing to get back down to the volume weighted average price. As I exit, it will obviously decide to turn around and everything. So I just got to be able to live with that. So patience. As soon as this is breached, we're out of there, Sharif. And that's all I got going on.
POLA is breaking out the high of the day. So shut up to above, and here we go. 346 high, showing 44s, 45s. It's up 56%, coming from real low. Seeing some resistance here at the mid 40 penny area. Do we get continuity? Not immediately. Down into 30s we go. Is this a buying opportunity? Current bar low is right at 10. So it takes us to 310. That is the low of this candle. $3.10. Let's pack our patience. See if we can kind of, if this is a micro pullback. Let's put POLA on the 5-second chart so we can spot these areas of support and resistance. We're going to give this one the old college try. Let's see if this one runs. We'll try to add into this position here because I'm going to have to take smaller positions because, well, we're negative on the day, having traded like a buffoon, right? So got to be a little bit careful here with POLA. So what's trend? Trend seems to be that $0.25. If it loses the $0.25, I think I'm going to have to get out of this one. I don't want a dollar cost average. I'm going to add into the winning position on this one. So if it's going to take out 35s, that's the local area seller, we'll add into this one if it takes out 35s. Showing me 33s right now, but it's a bit of a consolidative move between 25s and 35. There's 35 right now, seller at 35, 37, pretty quick. Let's look for that continuity, though, on POLA if we're going to add into this one. It's not just good enough to take it out, so keep looking at the trend, looking for that continuation of higher highs and higher lows. Going to be adding small. Here we go. Nice. Okay. Dang. Took out some instead of adding some, Joey. All right, so there we go into the high of the day, 46. Sorry, that's 46 is the high. We got into 44s. We just wicked into 46. There's a new high day, 47. Shut it to Bovin. Not a bad look on this one. Let's see if we can get that continuity through the $0.50. I'm going to add here. Let's see if, didn't let me add. Let's see if we can add on the dip. Looking for a drop back down. Not quite yet. I don't know why it didn't let me add there. There's a huge seller at 47s. Multiple rejections of that 47 penny level. Still on POLA. There it is, dropping back down. We're going to add into this area over here. Let's set up at the near the area high and then above the 50 penny area. So there's a buyer of note in the mid 30s, 37s or so. What do we got on now? 41, seller at 45, looking for that 47 break and take. You got higher lows, you just need higher highs through that 47, Joey. So that's what I'll be looking on. POLA, looking for that trend continuation above the $0.50.
Nice look there. All right, guys. So look at this. Look at this on the tape. So this is before the selling. And then sure enough, as soon as you run into that 90-10, all of this steps in. All of this steps in. That is pure buy program. And this is what we're talking about. This is what sold us here on this specific candle. And then sure enough, a couple minutes later, it's just boom, pure defense, man. That's a Hall of Fame defense right there, Sharif, which is insane as Apple starting to go. And it does this, I'm just going to get out because Apple wants to climb, and I want to have enough capital so I can put on some more trades. So do I do it? You got to just accept it. You got to sometimes just accept your fate. I wouldn't be surprised if this market did eventually turn over. Let's actually go to the daily to see. Just lick me out here. Ebbs and flows. So nothing substantial at that specific level. But a nice bounce. You can see that we're holding 84, 87, whatever that is on the Nasdaq. I could care less at the moment. But not too bad on the TQs. And come on, like, I mean, This is all I'm focusing on right now, considering the size that I have put on. Let's actually take a look at some of the top volume stocks here on the day. NVDA, relatively cool. Only 65 million shares traded on the session. AEO right behind it, right? But considering it's only 10% of the value of that stock, 64 million shares as well too. TSLL, 52 million. SOXL, 45 million. And then on the lower names, and this is all the stocks higher than $10. At the lower end is Joby. I know you like Joby there, Sharif, but he still has 12.8 million shares traded on the session.
What's the price of that piece of crap?
1280.
Oh, God.
1280, yeah, 1281. So, and it has 12.8 million shares traded on the session. So, very, very interesting. Oh, that's what I wanted to look at. That's going to be XLF. We like XLF here, Sharif. I think for the foreseeable future, yes, it's lunchtime. Happy for that. Get some food in the old belly, man. All I had was a steak and an egg yesterday for dinner.
Smoking a pancake?
Steak and an egg.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, I'm pretty hungry, and yeah, so.
I know.
It wasn't that big.
all
Like
you had?
one steak and an egg.
Yeah.
That's not that much.
I'm gonna need more.
No, but it wasn't even like a 4 ounce though, Neil. It was like 2.5.
All right. Neil's coming in, man.
He's coming in.
He's
He
got things to
didn't
say,
like
though.
what I
You
just had to
aggravated
say
him.
there, apparently.
You aggravated him, bro.
Fair point. And I have this conversation with my wife a lot. When you're talking about something in particular, and there's obvious information that you should be forwarding or at least giving people when talking, you can't say all I had was a piece of steak, because that basically makes it seem like you didn't eat enough food. Then why aren't you telling us how much steak you had? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's unnecessarily confusing. If you just say, well, I only had about 6 ounces.
Wasn't even. It was like a 4 ouncer, Neil.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
But when you just said steak and eggs, I'm like, well, steak and eggs is a pretty healthy dinner. Like, that to me, that's a healthy dinner. Maybe you had 12 ounces. Maybe you had 18. I don't know. But that's not enough information.
Yeah, it's very healthy. We're gonna put that.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to obviously fill this belly here.
Less than 6 ounces is not dinner.
No.
It's a snack.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I had a snack last night, and then I had to indulge on apples and oranges this morning.
You should also make sure you have some vegetables in there or something.
Yeah.
You can't
Hold
just
on.
only have
You don't smash the
the
vegetables?
same.
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't yesterday, but I usually have fried onion. No, I had fried onions with it. Sorry, I had fried onions with that.
Yeah.
But I usually put my fried onion, green peppers, red peppers, and broccoli.
Oh,
with
that's
that stuff.
fair.
So
Well,
that's
most of
how we
that.
rock
There you
and
go.
roll,
He's
man.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah, we're all
get
right.
me out of here, but I'll be back for the lesson in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's going to be there on like a couple of minutes. All right. Are we going to Adara? All right. Adara's got happening now. You just saw him. Neil's going to have his lesson of this.
Bang.
Apologies about that. We're going to take a look here at this market, which is trying to push a little bit higher. One thing that's been happening now, and actually since about 10 a.m., is this hearing here with the Center of Economic Advisors, Stephen Myron. He has been nominated there for the Fed. This hearing's been going on for quite a while, and it's been pretty interesting to listen to, quite honestly. One thing he did say is that he intends to remain as actually the leader of the Council of Economic Advisors, even if he becomes a member of the Fed. Now, let me clarify, he would be taking an unpaid leave of absence during his roughly 4-month term and then returning to the CEA, which has led to a few concerns from senators about the partisanship of the Fed. So really interesting conversations happening here with regards to that Stephen Myron hearing. You can check our position board to see updates there. We did get some numbers early today. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting non-farm payrolls, so stay tuned for that. That should be pretty exciting. Here is American Eagle. The stock's been really strong, and you can check out this infographic on X at TTV Research, posted a few days ago. This is not the Sydney Sweeney and Travis Kelce collabs are not their first collabs with celebrities. You can certainly check out that infographic. Solid report, though, for AEO, beating estimates and clearly well received by investors. Lululemon, though, is going to be reporting tonight. Should be an interesting one as well, along with Broadcom, DocuSign, IoT. Check out those earnings with Sean and myself on the market recap at 4 p.m. Eastern. As we send you over to Neil, I think, and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Yeah, the lesson of the day here. I'm joined by, that's what's up, Fabian. I didn't even warn him. He's like, yeah, look at this for me and see if you can make this work. And I'm like, yeah, you're about to be on air, and I'm not going to say a word of warning whatsoever. So yeah, we're not here to talk about steak and eggs. However, obviously a healthy dinner, a healthy breakfast, healthy lunch are all important. I can report back. Well, I can't show you guys the tacos because I already ate it, but I can say that Taco Thursday around here gets, I hate to say this, it gets like a C- for me. It had nothing to do with it. The portion was so incredibly small. I can't, I probably need at least 4 times as much food as what they gave us. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The most important thing when trading sometimes is it's not just making a decision what direction you like, right? So you like it long, you like it short. It's where you want to make the decision that often matters. And sometimes it requires a lot of patience to wait for that particular decision-making inflection point. And there's a lot of times that if I can look back, win, lose, or draw, and at least I was making the decision at the right price, then I know that I was doing something right. And now that isn't always the case, and sometimes something won't work out where I think I'm transacting at the right price, but I get more upset at myself if I'm making transactions or decisions at a nonsensical price. And I'll give you an example of something where, win, lose, or draw, at least every time on Open Door, it bounced 5, and I know we could have argued, I can make all the arguments in the world for you to buy it at the $5 level after yesterday, but we didn't get that. So where am I looking? If a continuation squeeze plan, I always say this about squeezes, you got to be breaking out resistance to scare shorts. So resistance yesterday was at 540. So when it pulls back, all the patience in the world to wait for a bounce at 540. And then all the patience in the world to wait for a bounce at 540 and then go long. I did try it again, and now all of a sudden, I'm actually thinking it could end up being the other direction now because 540 is holding in the other way. That's the idea of, okay, I know I want to favor the long in this stock, but where is my decision point? Just like yesterday, if you were making a decision point in the morning, you probably would have wanted to short at that level. Today, this is where you want to transact. I don't want to be buying too much up here or do anything else away from a key price level. And win, lose, or draw, if at least I'm making decisions at the point where it pulls back, that's where it's bouncing. It pulls back. If it ends up failing from here, then I know I was right about that. And that's where, when you're trading, if you have in mind an inflection price for whatever reason, and you see it respected a couple of times, it gives you that confidence to wait, to sit there knowing, okay, it's pulling back, but dip buy, I can want to dip buy all I want, but I need to let it pull back into the price, because the market in trading, in stock movement, has a lot to do with going from liquidity point to liquidity point. Hopefully that should make an obvious amount of sense, right? Like you go from a liquidity point to a liquidity point, liquidity point to liquidity point. And what you want to avoid as a trader is transacting entries too often away from liquidity points. Because when you bounce away from a liquidity point, it's an easier path to go up or down from that moment. And this does not mean you are always going to win, right? But, and again, like I'm in one now, which is resembling what happened in Open, which is, okay, well, I know there was a liquidity point in and around just above the 40 level into about 40.30 on SMCI in the pre-market. I tried short there before. It didn't work. I waited for it to get to yesterday's open range top. That did work. Now we're back at that same liquidity area where you had some chop before where it fell in the afternoon. So win, lose, or draw, I think I'm in it at the right area so that if I'm wrong, okay, fine. It probably breaks out this VWAP and the longs would win here. If it works short, I don't think this is a scalp of anything. I'm expecting it to break down in the low end of the range. Prior close, prior low. And if you get in at a liquidity point, it's a good place to find quality risk to reward. Because when you throw your stop, you're pretty certain that it's going to run away from that price and have a good movement. If it goes sideways there, fair enough. But if you're patient and wait for a stock to get to a place where it's confirmed, either consolidation, support, or resistance, it's breaking away from those levels that give you the biggest and a lot of times the best move. So if you can be patient when you've identified one of those points, especially in the middle of the day, it'll tighten up your trading a little bit, keep you a little bit more focused and confident on the direction of the stock. And if I know that I've gotten it in at that right place, and I'm getting the place right 8 times out of 10 or whatever it might be, then I'm not too worried whether it wins or loses because I'm making the transaction at the right spot. And at that point, my risk to reward just has to be good, and I could be a coin flip. Because if you're getting in at liquidity points, you can be a coin flip because the expectation is that it's going to give you a good move if it goes in your favor. And if you break out, you have a relatively defined stop. So and that's why you wait for these points when they identify themselves. Patience is an important part of trading. Let's be real, a lot of a trader's time should be spent waiting. That's just part of the game. If you're not willing to wait as a trader, then you're probably not willing to trade. I actually like that quote. If you're not willing to wait as a trader, then you're not willing to trade. I'll leave you guys with that one and finish the rest of my salad and try to figure out what else I'm going to eat, because those tacos, while tasty, did not fill me up even a little bit. Bye, guys.
Oh, baby. All right, Joey.
Yeah, you got something? Go ahead. Yeah,
POLA is going. Shout out to Bovin. We've got a whole bunch of beak wetters through the into the half dollar. What do we got on, Joey? We got 27s on. It's coming back down. So anything below my entry, we're stopping out. High of the day, POLA 67s. We don't have any prints there because we were in the bathroom, but that's fine. I only have one out anyway, so I'm gonna have to pack my patience on this one. I don't mind adding to this position if it can decisively stay above the half dollar. If it's going to zig and zag with the half dollar a little above, a little bit below, I'm not going to add because we haven't really cleared that area, technical area of support quite yet, but we'll keep an eye out on that. Also taking some profits. Finally, something going well over here on NBY as it works its way into the half dollar. It's got a higher low. It looks like it's using the 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart, but I definitely need to see a closing print above that half dollar because that half dollar has been a staunchy little bugger as a resistance level. I'm talking about NBY, guys. And last but not least, we're doing it again on LAWR. Added to this one. I haven't wet the beak here. I probably should because we got shares on, so we can take out some profits here. And I'll set up at 65 as well for the next one on LAWR. This one's a lot slower of a mover, so be ready for that. You're going to have to pack your patience. But back to POLA. So this one did dip down, again, into the 30 penny area. Now, it may look like, the bad times are coming for POLA. But when you look at it a bit further, we've been doing higher highs and higher lows, I think, on almost every candle since 11 o'clock. I got to double check that. But it looks like we're basically holding trend for the most part since basing out at around $2.40. So if we do lose this candle right here at 25, that's going to be the first lower low in a while. And here's VWAP. So we're in at 27, so we can pack our patience here. If it holds VWAP, fantastic. If it doesn't, loses my area, I'm going to flatten out, use my flatten out key. In fact, Joseph, I think I'm going to add into this position. Okay. Since if I'm going to get in here, if I'm going to get out here, then why not just get in a bit of a position and lose a couple of pennies a share? And on the other side of the equation, you could also pop up much more than a few pennies a share. So here we go, showing 25s, 26. If it loses 20, I'm going to get out. What do you got?
All right, good stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm talking about the same name here because that's all that I'm in. So I'll just try to find something else. Amazon. You can see that volume really kick in as you break out, but then you're rejecting this previous level, so somewhat constructing a lower high. But I would just be patient just in case that this is somewhat of a pullback, and then you get buyers to step right back in. We were talking about the crypto space. What has Bitcoin been up to for the past little while? Has it put in new lows? Wow, $62. Not too good of a look there on IBIT. Gap down. Gap and go continuation to the southeast. And then we also have ETHA. Please a bounce. The chances are of it bouncing are probably relatively slim. And there it is. Boom. 32.45. You get that gap down. Pre-market, you fill about 60 to 70% of that gap. 33.56. So you're down a point on the session there in some of those crypto names. Do we have you? Actually, you have UXRP here. UXRP. Oh, I don't have it. XXRP. Okay, so this is 2X. What's this one been up to? $32. I was doing some TA on some XRP yesterday, and I mean, this is what happens when you're in 2x leverage, right? You're down 50% when XRP from those previous highs is only down about 25% or so. So yeah, tough look in some of those ETFs, especially on today's session, but it's September, what else do we expect? Now, what else are you guys looking at? Make sure you get those votes in as well to participate, and that's exactly what we want to see. So I'm going to vote again. I think you can only vote once, but who knows? I'm going to put it in again. I'm going TQs this time. I went IBIT last time. I'm going TQs on this vote. To see what we got going on. WDC, yeah, let's take a look at that name and see what we got going on. Western Digital, wow, okay. So as our guy Kramer would like to say, there's a bull market somewhere, and it's in Western Digital Corp right now, trading from $85 all the way up to $90. So that's going to give you a nice 5% session today. And if we zoom, what the hell?
What the hell?
Yeah, who is this? Who do you think these guys think they are? Up 212%. What the hell is even that is right? Up 212%. From those April lows, Sharif, is Western Digital.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, whoever they are, I have no idea.
All right, so shout out to Fluffy something or another there. Sorry, let me find out your name. I want to shout you out. I just don't want to look away for too long because you know how these markets are. Fluffy Hippo. Shout out to my man, Fluffy Hippo. Bovin also calling it out. This is the one, Assassino SMX. So we got that 70 print, wet the beacon to 80s. It's got a high of 85, so we're still south of 85 at the moment. It bounced beautifully off the, what's it called? Either the 10 EMA or VWAP. They were kind of overlapping, but it did respect that technical area of support. So let's see if it does. It does continue, that is. 85 penny high. Be on the lookout for a rejection, though, of that 80 penny area. Sorry, not 80 penny, 83 penny area. There was a seller there last time. So right now, hanging out about double sevens. There's 78, 80, okay? Let's keep going over here. 82s now. Boom. There it is. Into the high. So we got the high of the day at 90 there. Good look on SMX. Let's see if this one's got more. It's 49%, looking to go more, but it's very rangy. The range per candle, meaning like the price action per candle, is quite wide. Just look at the last 3 candles. I mean, this current candle has a 41 penny range, 50 to the low, 91 to the high. Okay, so I mean, it's a dollar name. It's not a $300 name. So that's a lot of range per candle there. Still holding up. We got a new 5-minute candle that just opened up showing 85. So as I mentioned, previous candle high 91, area low 50. So it did defend that 50 penny area. Does it encounter resistance at 2? We know that psychological area of resistance is likely going to be $2. So we'll get in here and we'll try to see. There it is, right into the high. Okay, so we'll take it out over here knowing that we're likely going to encounter more resistance into that $2 area. So we got 89s on. Let's with the beak here super quick just to de-risk. And let's see if we can get through that 195. So it's a 195 high. We got 194 showing up here. 3s now, a little zig and zag, Joey, up 57%. But I feel like we may touch or exceed 2. It just may not do it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it just may not be, it may not hang out in that area for all that long. So again, use your resting orders, people. That's why they're there. 95, 96, Joey. Here we go. 97 showing up. Can we get the print? It's a 97 penny high. We're going to take it out right there.
Oh,
boom.
Nice.
Happy with this one. We're still negative on the day, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop trading. We're going to keep working back, see if we can make some of this money back, Joey. What do you got?
Grinding. Yeah, that's what Sharif's doing right now. He's grinding. That's what it is today. Definitely a tougher look. If you just, some of the names that I have up here, it's just a lot of sideways and a lot of overlapping price action. NVIDIA is literally moving eastwards, so that sucks. And then Amazon get that breakout and now starting to pull back a little bit here. I was talking to one of my buddies. I do like Palantir as a potential long, but again, so when I look at these VPA signals, I give myself a somewhat of a gauge. So if you have a hammer candle and then it fills about like 60% of it to the downside, the chances are is that it might continue. So you want to see about that 50% of the wick specifically, and then maybe you can get a bounce in the opposite direction if that's what you're looking for. Again, it can hold almost to the penny at times, but more often than not, if that 60% of that wick candle is covered, then sure enough, I think that you're going to take an additional leg lower. It doesn't mean your thesis is wrong. It just means that the timing is slightly off. So take that into consideration. And I think that's going to be the case. So I'll keep my eyes out on this to see if we do get that turnaround. What's my guy Robinhood been up to?
What's he been up to?
Are we still north of 100?
Such a rocket.
Yeah. So 103, not too bad of a look there on Robinhood Sharif. 103, we'll take it. We'll take it. That's all right, man. 103, we'll take it. Bouncing off of some key. Okay, so let me ask you this.
This is her Toronto show, by the way. She's putting videos of her Toronto show.
Is she? Yeah. So Sid or Do?
Oh, they're like, it's just like asking A or Z. I feel like they're completely two different.
Oh, yeah? So what do you mean? So it's like,
one's A, one's Z.
Yeah, okay.
And neither was good or bad.
So,
I'm not making a comment.
Yeah. So I was going to say something, but I don't want to go that deep. What's that?
You're going to get me in some trouble.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, okay. I'll stop.
We're good.
I'll stop, man. I know I'm joking. But yeah, I got wedding rehearsal tonight all the way up in Uxbridge as well, too. So we're going to be making a fashionable late appearance to that one. Got to go get the haircut.
Actually late?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or a farming, I think they call it these days.
Is it a buddies?
Wedding?
Yeah. Family or buddy?
No,
buddy?
yeah, like high school friend. Like
nice.
we've been friends for probably 15, 16 years now at that time. So good
Joey
stuff.
Options.
Tell
Here it is again, guys. What the hell? What the hell just happened there? Oh, got in and got out. I took everything out. My mistake. I didn't get filled. No, I did. What am I saying? I did. I don't know why. Okay. I guess I took out too much too quickly there. But sorry, guys, SMX, sorry to digress. Here we go. We got a 201 high. The trend is still intact here. So we're still putting in higher highs and higher lows. Look for the previous area trough on a lower time frame and try to pick it up a little bit above that. That's what I've been trying to do with this one, just trying to ride the trend. It's very strong, but we're at a critical area right now. I'm talking about two. It's a psychological area of resistance. You don't necessarily know whether this is going to be the stopping point for the name or what. So that's why I'm trying not to get too much too quickly at this critical level. If it drops back down into a technical level, fantastic. If it clears two by some distance so we can use it as support, then we'll do that as well. But Joey, it's been a tougher day for me to read these ones. So when that happens, you don't have as much confidence in your trade because you're questioning your analysis. I'm just speaking for myself. Because sometimes these ones, you know, they go with the breeze, so to speak, and then some other times they're just all over the place. So we're going to keep an eye on this one, and Joey's going to tell you guys something.
All right, guys. Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs, offering 3 bull and 3x bear exposure to SPX and TSX 60. Semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily leverage to learn more.
Learn more, baby.
Learn more, guys. It's always good. You want to learn more.
Here it is, Joey.
Go ahead.
SMX 201, guys. Huge seller at 201. We're long back in, flatten out there. We should have taken it at 201, so did lose 2 for now. And here we go, a bit of a move down. Watch out for the 90 penny loss. We did get bought up at 90 pennies last time. If we get dropped down below 90, the trend can change. We're a little bit consolidative now with a double top into 202. Go ahead, Adira.
Keep an eye here on the market, specifically some of these big tech names. Bloomberg reporting that apparently the FTC is going to be launching a probe into how AI chatbots impact children. The companies they're going to be focusing on here are apparently OpenAI, Google, and Meta. So these 3 companies in the Nasdaq as a whole on watch after Bloomberg reports the FTC going to probe the impacts of AI chatbots into, on children in general. Back to you.
There it is, Joey.
There it is.
Down into 85, making a move into 95. But if it makes a move into 95 and it drops back down again, that'll be a lower high and a lower low. So keep your eye on SMX. I'll keep my eye on it as well.
Yep.
POLA, Joey, it dropped off and it's no longer tradable.
Good stuff. Okay, guys, I really want us to focus on here. Can we pull up my screen immediately so you can see? What's that?
I don't ask for much.
Yeah, but listen, I'm gonna be stern. I need it immediately, and when I say it now, want it now.
You hear that,
Thank
Neil?
you.
I know. He wants it now. He wants his money, and he wants it. It's his money. He wants it now, baby.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Love
Don't
it,
make
baby.
me flip.
I know.
The old switch there. But anyways, all right. So there it is, guys. What I wanted to focus on here was the supply zone. So there's demand there. So when you run into a supply zone and then you get the bounce continuous, is that there's demand and they're continuously moving the stock up. So yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of get us at, so we can see the defense step into the market at those specific support and resistance zones. And there you go. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is, Neo. Thank you. Much appreciated. So that's what I want us to focus on. With that being said, we're going to also put in our level 2 filter that we haven't. Yeah, I know this guy.
One of each, baby.
One of each. He's always
Randy's commenting about my fruit selection.
Yeah, I always
bring it
see
in.
them.
Let's bring it in. Bro, Randy,
Not that bad.
I don't have too much in the way of sugar unless it's
Not
this
that
form
bad.
of sugar. So it's not too bad over here,
No,
Joey.
that's
Look, get the
good.
trend out of the way, man. All right, sorry about that trend. I'm not playing. I just want to get a rise out of Ram, but she's not even listening. So we got. She gave me the finger again. Got a mandarin or a clementine. We got an orange, a peach, a green apple.
Yeah, that's good, man.
And then right here, baby, this is the pre-workout right there. You got to get that potassium up, baby, so we don't cramp up.
Oh man, this thing's got to go in the garbage.
Sorry
now.
about
It's
that,
mad
Assassino.
dirty.
We're going to Adara.
Keep an eye here on the market. It is worth noting we just had the Senate Banking Committee hearing during which Stephen Moran testified as part of his nomination to the Fed. That hearing has concluded. Fed's Williams also speaking, saying that apparently the labor market is still in a, quote, reasonably good place. And before we send you back to the guys, take a moment to thank our friends at Trade the Pool, because every trader knows that if you want to grow, you have to risk more. At least that's how it used to be, because Trade the Pool is changing that. It's the new revolution in stock trading. You don't need a large deposit. Trade the Pool is built for any trader who wants to grow without putting everything on the line, just a small skin of the game, and you're trading with real capital. Here's how it works. You pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at $47. That is your total risk. From there, you trade real shares, no CFDs, using company capital. Head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code on the screen. Back to you.
So there it is, like we're just right back into these levels. I'm honestly thinking of just punching out and kind of saving my sanity from throughout the remaining of the day. But it looks like it wants to break down. It's so tight. But there, look at Robinhood go. Yes, we love Robinhood obviously here. We love it.
Anytime you say we love that,
Yeah. We love it, man. Hey, I love it too. Yeah. We love all that stuff, man. So it's good stuff.
Ozan's in the chat.
What's up, Ozan? Yeah, what's up, brother? But no, there's Robinhood, Sharif, looking pretty good. Palantir, are we going to bounce off of those lows? We'll take one more look at this before we send it back to my guy. Sure. And then you also kind of want to correlate it with the daily. Ask yourself, are we going to bounce here from a daily perspective? To me, the answer is going to be no. Obviously, anything can happen from an intraday perspective. But there it is, potential bottoms. But it's just having a really hard time breaking through some key 153.90 levels. And then you can see you run into the resistance, and then you head right back into the range street.
All right, Ozan, thank you for joining us again, my brother. We miss you around here and all the e-signal ad references. Let's throw in CRM, because Ozan wants me to look at CRM, and CRM we're going to look at. Ozan, I happen to love the company and the leader of the company, but I don't like what this has been doing lately, and they haven't benefited from AI in the way that they've been talking. So here's the the daily on CRM, on Salesforce, and for the most part, at least since around mid-May, Ozan, we've been using the 50 EMA or SMA. They're not going to be really that much far apart. I just got to digress for a second on that analysis, because SMX is all sorts of strong. It's taking out highs. There's a 208 high. It's showing 205 right now. It's 67%. So SMX is going. Be on the lookout for that. So it's generally, Ozan, been using the 50 EMA on the 5 as resistance. It did breach it over here mid-May into the 200. It rejected the 200. Then basically it's been hovering at or below the 50 exponential or simple, again, moving average on the daily. You have it over here, you have it over here, and then you got it again over here. So 3 times. And in addition to it also rejecting the 50, it's been putting in lower highs. So the only thing really keeping us, I mean, there is obviously a buyer at 230. Even the tariff tantrum, we didn't even lose 230 by all that much. At the low of the tariff tantrum, we got into 226. And look where we ended up closing that day, brother. We popped up back to 248. So that was like a pre-market low. So I want to say 230 is a level that I'd pick it up off just as a support level. And it also goes back a ways. You have support at that 230 from 24 as well. Generally, you have support there. That's mid-June 2024. You got, again, that's the yen unwind trade. Remember the yen carry trade, the unwind of that in early August. So that, look where it dropped down there to 227. Again, ended up closing higher that day. So Ozan, to me, the level is 230, generally that area. But that's from a technical perspective. I don't like this because they haven't benefited from that agent force. I know it's super early, but this AI may be what brings them down. Unless they can monetize it somehow in a way that they're able to generate the same amount of revenue. Like he was the first, Benioff that is, was the first pounding the table on agents. We're gonna have agent force, this, that, and the other. Then you heard, you know, the LLMs pick up agents, and we got the ChatGPT one and others. So I don't know, man. Fundamentals, it sounds great. The technicals have been jiving there. So 230 to me, Ozan, is a level I'd buy it. And then I'd give it 3% or so from that level. Let me know how it goes. I hope you print up multiple stocks.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic stuff. There we go. We got the breakdown. It'd be absolutely ignorant of me to not take some profit here. So yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to take 75% off just because it's just, there we go, bang. We'll take that all day. And then we're just going to let this ride. So 90.20 is our average price, gives us a bunch of room. We'll wait to see if we even get into VWAP once again. I was telling my boy, I'm like, it's just like a reverse magnet here, just keeps repelling off of VWAP and wants no part of it. But Apple is starting to come back in slightly aggressively, which is good. Yeah, say it ain't so. Shout out to Weezer. Nice. Yeah, thanks, John Womack. I mean, but like if we break this down from an execution standpoint, this is it's no. You can say no, nice job all you want, but this is why I was just saying to Shriefer that I feel off, and I can tell you exactly why. It's because I didn't follow my rules, and it's such a bad habit to kind of, and I very rarely do this. It's just such a bad habit to get into, and you don't want to continuously do this. It's just like, okay, I'm building a position, but then at one point we take this off, it comes back, I should just be out of this trade. And if I really like the short, then boom, we get back in at the highs. It's that simple. For me personally, this is not my style. Holding still about, I think it was like 30-40% of the remaining out of this bulk here, all the way up into here, and then I average in once again, and then sure enough, you get the breakdown. But it's just a big no-no. So that's why it's like, don't do those things. Just stick to your rules. Obviously, you'll have those one-off days. You can't be perfect all the time, but just get back into consistency, which is extremely important. As soon as we get into VWAP, I'm taking 50% off of what I have remaining. So that'll just leave a fraction of a bit. But there it goes, running right into supply zones and just getting bought right back up. Do I do it? Yeah, I think I'm going to, right? Because we've been sitting in this. I know it's working, but we just continuously get bought back up. So there it is, bang. I took another little bit off there, Sharif, remaining just a fraction of a bit just to see if we can get into VWAP.
All right, man, we've been doing it on SMX again, in and out, scalping. We had 4 scalped up, added as it came back down into 12, so we've got 7s on, scalped up into the high of the day of 14. So SMX is continuing to go, guys, 73% or thereabouts, looking to go more. Let's see if this one wants to hold too. You know, it's not that decisive of a break of $2. Let's just pack our patience over here. Let's see if it can hold that $2 area. Came back into 7s into where I got in, and it held it momentarily, but yeah, it does seem like it needs maybe a bit of a pullback here in order to set up in a bit of a better way. 214 to high of the day, showing me 11s. Let's see if we can get another squeeze into maybe, you know, the 20s, in and around that area, possibly even high teens, right? I could definitely be persuaded to wet the beak there in the high teens. So I've got a couple of positions on, which I'll cover in a second. NBY, been looking for that one to break out. We're only about 10 pennies in the money on that, maybe a little bit less. But that one's been a staunchy bugger. The only thing keeping me in NBY is the higher lows. So that's my look there. Let's go ahead and set up a stop. I'm going to set up at 203, and we're going to give it a bit of room on that one. And I'm just going to set up over that on that assassino, and then we're going to send it to Adara. She's got news for us at the big desk.
Nice.
Be aware here, we still have comments coming from Feds. William saying apparently the overall trend in services inflation has been favorable. And he's once again here with these Fed members being a little bit in between here, a bit cautious, but also willing to recognize how the situation has changed. He did say apparently that his concern is that the job market could cool further than would be desirable. We know we've had a lot of Feds expressing that concern about the job market while still expressing worries about inflation as well. So interesting note here, Feds William generally being not super hawkish or super dovish. I would say generally a little bit midpoint. He also said that the Fed is focusing on broader data trends rather than just one specific number. So interesting stuff here. Just letting you guys know he's still speaking, and back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, keep us updated. Let us know how that's going. Very important stuff. Thank you, Adara, for that. And as Ari Pages said in the chat there, Adara, get it, Adara.
Get it, Adara.
Yeah. So shout out to Adara, always giving us the goods, letting us know what's up. And, you know, quite frankly, this place falls apart without her. So I don't like this stuff. Shout out to Adara.
Oh, but it's pure static.
Everything good? Okay. All right, guys, I'm keeping my eye on this one. Gavin, NBY recently announced one-off dividend pay of 80 pennies per share. I have been in this long since yesterday at 252. Good on you, Gavin, man. And here we go. We just took up a whole bunch of prints there, Gavin, showing 50 now on the level 2. It's got to clear this level, though. I mean, I have a whole bunch of shareage on this, but we haven't been taking too many in the way of prints. Let's go ahead and set up some north in the 50, in the high 50s area. So that's what I'll keep my eye on there. We fall apart without a dare. Forget that place. Yeah, well, that's what I say too, brother. Because sometimes it feels like we're flying blind when we don't know what the Donald is doing. Yeah, he dances up on that screen, but you know, when he's dropping hot lines and the market's moving in any which way, it does feel like we're flying blind a little bit.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
What's wrong, Joey?
Oh no, because I got the channel to work, but it started off, but it's currently not doing it, Fabian. I don't know if it's after she speaks, then maybe, but currently right now we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So
all right, here we go, Joey. Back into SMX here. We just touched the high of the day. Again, 14s. I've been posted up right now. I think I'm going to take this off. I don't think that I want that there. I'm going to put it at the $0.25, just south of the $0.25, Assassino SMX. See if we can get that break of the 20 penny area on SMX. Assassino, if we can go to the screen. Thank you, brother. So we'll keep an eye out on that, Joey. But if it does drop below my entry, I'm going to stop out on this one. It's still putting in higher highs and higher lows. I'm trying to keep an eye on the 5-second chart. It's very consolidative on the 5-second chart. Has these prolonged periods of consolidation where it just trades sideways and then it pops up, trades sideways again. So let's see if we can get above 14. I'm going to wait at the $0.25. Here we are at 14s, 15, 16. All right. Nope, not a high day yet. Adara's giggling up there. That means something's being said. And we'll find out very shortly what it is. Let me know when you want to chime in, Adara. So we're going to keep an eye here on SMX, looking for this one to continue. Bovin telling me INHD. Let's have a look at INHD for the OG Bovin. I don't even want to maximize this because I got to keep my eye on these bad boys. So INHD, Joey, what do we got on that? All right, that's the daily. Let's flip to the 5. Get a gander. Good look here, Bovin. What's the volume on INHD? 1.08 million shares. Not bad on a $5 name. Not great, but we'll keep an eye on it. We're going to take off DLTH and put INHD. Joey, tell them what you're looking at, baby.
All right, man. It's the same narrative. I'm going to hop out of this, even though, actually, no, I'm not. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy talk. We're holding this one to break even. We're back to following our rules here. It's just like that. So if it does come back to a break even, we're not messing around here anymore. But yeah, good stuff. I mean,
Dara, you're
just let us know. Just let us
Dara, just chime in.
Yeah.
So it's not market related, which is why I haven't said much, but there's just, I did mention this briefly. There's this RFK Jr. testimony that was happening at the same time as the Stephen Myron testimony, but this RFK Jr. testimony is still happening. Again, not really market related. I was just watching in case any of these vaccine names moved, but it's just getting very yelly.
I hear you.
On all accounts, is all I'm trying to say. That's why I'm... it's very entertaining, and a lot of people are yelling all their points.
I don't hear Adara, though. No, Adair, it's nothing to do with you. We're working out something with Fabian over here.
I do, Fabian. I thought maybe you would, but no, it doesn't seem to be the case. So still holding on, waiting for a break even. Market slowly starting to curl over. What has our friend Palantir been doing off of these lows? Has it bounced yet? It's getting close. So there it is, an additional liquidity grab. So there it is, the buying pressure steps in, you get that additional move lower, and then now you're starting to head back towards that top end, and that's it, boom, I'm out of this TQ's trade. I'm thankful for that. So yeah, that worked out pretty good for us. So again, we were in some hot deep water there, man. That was not fun, to be honest with you. But it's actually, the funny thing is though, is it's not fun when you're doing it, but then after you look back and you laugh. It's like when people hurt themselves or something crazy happens, or when your friends just do something ridiculous. It's not funny in the time until after you can laugh about it, and that's the experience that I just personally went through. I thought I'd share that with everyone.
Is it soon enough to laugh or not?
Yeah, it's we're laughing now. During the time, it was not a laughing matter
whatsoever. You don't
whatsoever.
overstep your boundary and laugh when someone doesn't want you to laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst.
I have issues with that. So
same, bro, same.
Yeah. When I'm in a deep, serious conversation with somebody who's like obviously mad at me, I can't help but chuckle. But there it is. We're all out of the TQs. We're looking for that next trade.
I love it, Joey. All right, guys, we're keeping an eye here on NBY. Finally, this thing is curling up. My goodness. Through the $0.50. Now the spread is tightened up to about 2 pennies, but I want to keep my eye on SMX because here we go. We'll get stopped out for the last remaining amount there on SMX as it drops back down below $2. I'll give you the levels on this. 184 is VWAP and 181 or 182 is the 10 EMA, and it is right there right now. Let's give this one a try. See if we can catch a falling knife. Can it hold? Can it hold? Pops back up. We'll take out some right there. I don't understand why it slows down when I ask it to take some out, bro. If I say take some out right now. I know Katina, man, brother. I don't have the same persuasion you have these days. Get it, Katina, man. Katina is back from the gym, baby. He's laughing up a storm. There we go. So we did catch bottom wick there on your friend SMX and then pop back a little bit on that one. Now, keeping my eye here on NBY, as this one, again, is above the $0.50 right now. This one, Joseph, LAWR, 55s. We got 54s on the ad. It's still generally holding this area, but this isn't trade. So we're going to flatten out here on that one so I don't have to monitor it, and it takes some of my attention. So now, what we'll be looking at is INHD. Shout out to Bovin for that one, and NBY. So excuse me, take out LAWR. We're going to put it on INHD. There it is. So this one's up, how much? About 30%, excuse me, into that 645 area high, showing me 617 right now. So INHD, SMX, and NBY, those are the ones I'm going to be focusing on going into the last 5 minutes of trading, as we'll have to start the news quite soon, Joey. So let them know what you're looking at, baby.
Beautifully said there, my friend. I like what Jag just said right
What'd
here.
he say?
He said, at least I feel better losing or winning on the side of the market than against it. I really like that. That's some wise words there, my friend. I get the static there, but that's okay. I mean, guys, you know my style of trading. I don't do this very often, but I just had a little bit of conviction. The signals were there. It's like at the end of the day, it wasn't horrible. It's just me holding the remaining of this position all the way up into here. That was the one key mistake, and then that's why I was like, hey, I feel slightly off, because it's just when you break rules, the trading gods know about it, and there you go, they reward you. So, and you don't necessarily want that exactly. So, can we look at Oscar Health? Absolutely. I know Katina Man's in this one.
He is, yeah.
Are you in this one too, Sharif? No, Oscar Health, no. So there it is. Nice breakout. So another flat top break. What was the other name that we pointed out? WDC, I think someone was talking about. So a nice flat top break here. 1866. Let's zoom out. I don't love the healthcare sector, to be honest with you. Really, really tough look. With that being said, you are off of those bottoms, trading around $19. Now let's take a look at XLV. And you know what? It's this in the energy sector for me personally. I think at some point you'll be able to get involved with them. considering it is still up off of those April lows, but this is a lot of sideways price action. It's up 20%. I did some TA on it off of the April lows not too long ago, but you got to ask yourself, what would you rather be involved in, some of this XLE stuff or get your hands dirty in some of the tech names? Because considering some of them up are 100%, some of the fintech names are up almost 200%. So there's other names and other sectors that you can find where you're going to get more bang for your buck.
Well said, Joey. All right, I'm just going to look at a couple of names here before we start weaseling on to the news. I really want to point out INHD. The only reason I want to do that is because it's holding above 6, and it did defend prior bar low. In fact, there's a double bottom at prior bar low, which is what, guys? Let me just tell you guys right now, 615. So double bottom at 615 on INDH. That's on the 5-minute chart. So there's a buyer here at 15. Now, I haven't been watching it on the level 2. Just a quick price action analysis there. There we go, popping back up into 20s. The high of the day, as I mentioned, 645. Prior bar high is 33. So if we print anything above 33, that'll be another 5-minute candle to make a new high. And here comes 30. And there goes 30. 39 now, current bar high. Can we work into this one? We're going to try. There we go. What do we got there? We got 34s. Let's see if we can get up a little bit more now that we've taken out prior bar. Showing me, there we go. There's the first print. Seller at 39, seller at 40 now. Let's see if we can kind of work into that 50 penny area. Let's see if that 40 seller can get shaken. 41s now, 45s. It's got to cross. There it is. Good look, good look. INHD's taking out levels. 50 pennies now, the high of the day. On the dot, we're waiting north of 50. So we're gonna pack our patience here north of 50. Anything below 30 ends the trade for me. So let's go ahead and put that in there so that we don't have to flatten out the key or use a flattened key and then get slippage. It's a market order, right? So you'll typically get slippage with that. 37s now. So the continuity, not as clean on INHD anyway. So what was that print that I got? 46s, not a bad look. We're going to have to hold the higher lows and higher highs. As I mentioned, current bar low has a buyer at 15s, and prior bar low also had that same buyer at $6.15. So that'll be my look on that. Popping back up to the mid-40s. Can we get continuity, though, through 50? Now I want to take out my NBY trade. We're going to end that one as that one is dropping back down again. I want to just focus on INHD. So if we can get that above 50 print, quick as you like, then we can start the news. But I'm not going to be doing the news with this thing because this thing's all sorts of volatile right now. I definitely don't want to be looking away from this one, Joey. So we're going to pack our patience, keep an eye here on INHD. Shout out again to Bovin, who pointed this one out to me. But a lot of other people were pointing out INHD as well. I just didn't call them up by name, but thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. And always throw the tickers in, man, because it's hard for me to look at the scanner at all times.
Oh, yeah, Gaurav, that happens to me all the time, brother. Get used to it, man. It's just part of the game. All right, guys, 14 years, zero. Oh, okay. All right, no problem, man.
Too early for us.
Okay, hey, don't jump the gun, man. That's some dangerous stuff. You said, Joe, you said immediately? Not right now, brother. Crazy. Not right now. Crazy, crazy. As you would like to say, call me crazy. Apple heading towards the lows, still holding up that breakout level. Beautiful stuff. That's like what we like to see. Now, all right. Thanks, brother. 14 years, 0 hacks, 0 excuses. BTCC.com delivers when others don't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500x. Even Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you trade like them. Regulated in the USA, Canada, and Europe. Trusted by 6.8 million traders. Trader TV Live exclusive. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box for a 15% deposit bonus. BTCC.com, where the pros trade, and now so you can too.
I like that.
All right, beautiful stuff. Has it ever happened to you? You get stopped out at the lows, then you see the stock rip. Hood is doing that to me today. Yeah, brother, countless times. I think everybody in this room. Everybody in this room is like Katina Man was chuckling because it happens, and you got to get used to those things. You're not going to be able to catch them all. You're not.
Why are they still here?
This guy's fruit basket.
Totally forgot they were still
That's
here.
good, man. That's good. I love seeing
Focusing on these trades, man.
Yeah, exactly. No, but honestly, in all seriousness, guys, it's part of the FOMO stuff and everything, and you don't want to chase. If you want your precise entry, just live with it. But Gaurav, look what's happening right now. So that could be somewhat enticing. You're going to miss out on trades, but the thing is, though, it's like, oh, you feel so down when you miss out on the trades. You're like, oh, that was the best trade of the day. But we said this before, and I'll say it again. It doesn't matter who you are. In almost every aspect of life, there's going to be something bigger and better. Oh, right? There's someone who's going to be faster. Someone's going to be stronger. It's just how things work. So don't feel too much FOMO. I'm not going to sit over here and say I don't, because I do. I would be lying to say if I didn't otherwise. But that's just how the game is. There's always going to be a bigger trade. There's always going to be a better trade. And the same thing in aspect of life. There's someone's going to be faster. Someone's going to be stronger. Someone's going to be smarter. It's just how things work.
Right? That's what my dad would tell me from when I was a kid, right? He's like, you have to be happy. Yeah. Because you're never going to have the most of anything. No, there's always going to be some, and even if you have it for a very short period of time, someone's going to.
Yeah, and then what do they say when you start comparing yourself to others? It just drains your happiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so you don't want to do those things, brother.
I think another thing is to be happy for other people. Yeah. If you can genuinely be happy for other people, you'll be a happy person. But if you're constantly looking around and trying to contradict people, trying to take the opposite position, I think that speaks to the character. It speaks
volumes, exactly.
Let's go ahead.
Let's go ahead, man.
Let's start Salesforce. Should we start the news, Joey? Let's talk about Salesforce. We were talking about this one with Ozan earlier. Look, some good stuff, but some silver linings, but a lot to be concerned about here with the report. So EPS beat easily, 291. The street wanted 278, so easy win there. On revenue, that came in a little bit shy than 10.25 billion. The street was looking for about $100 million less than that, 10.14. So a beat there and an increase of 10% year over year, up from the 9.33 they printed. So a nice almost $1 billion increase year over year on the quarter, with net income coming in 1.89 billion, just shy of 2 billion, and up from the 1.43 billion they took home last time. So nice beat there. Despite all that, the stock is down. Let's see where it's at right now. CRM, 5.85%. It was really the guidance here. So let's get right to that guidance. Q3 guidance came in, their EPS, came in at 284 to 286, or guiding a range. The estimate here was 285, so it meets the midpoint. But the revenue was slightly light, 10.24 billion to 10.29. The street wanted 10.29, so the midpoint below the estimate, and as a result, it sold off. That's Q3 guide. Let's talk about their full year guide. They maintained that same revenue outlook of 41.1 to 41.3 billion, and they raised, in fact, their full year guide for EPS. They're guiding now 1133 to 1137, which is well higher than the 1127 to 1133. Not well higher, but better. Guidance was viewed, though, as conservative, Joseph.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not you say it was a beat, the market reaction is really what matters here. And the shares, I think, I'm just going to double check, they're down about 23% year to date. Allow me a second. They're down 27.5% year to date, and that's bad. They announced, though, that they're going to put money back in the shareholders' pocket by adding another $20 billion in share buybacks, bringing the total scope of the buyback program to $50 billion, looking to put that money back in your pocket. But let's talk about that agentic AI, or what they're calling Agent Force AI, because they were one of the first ones pounding the table on agentic AI, and they haven't benefited from it. So they claim that they have about 6,000 paid deals for Agent Force AI. Benioff emphasized they're not just repackaging ChatGPT and their agents on, their agentic AI on there, but it's truly a productivity enhancer being sold by Benioff, obviously. The company is using AI agents actually internally, and they're reporting good usage with that. They're saying they're cutting services and support headcount to improve their margins. And last but not least, Joseph, they acquired Informatica for $8 billion, with the objective here to be strengthening data management and AI integration.
Yeah, you know what, Sharif? I'm really surprised on what's going on with Agent Force, considering the AI boom that we've been sitting in. And if you're having kind of your primary platform being obviously Agent Force, and your stock isn't continuously climbing higher, and you're not seeing the numbers that you want, that's really, really alarming considering the current environment that we're sitting in. There's no reason why, when you have this agentic AI, and one of the earlier adapters, as you touched on earlier, Sharif, there's no reason that you should be down 34 to 35% and not participating in some of the names that are continuously climbing higher, especially in this AI boom. So that's alarming to me.
Yeah, I figured they would be the first to benefit from it, because to me anyway, they were one of the first, I don't want to say the first, to start talking about agentic AI.
Absolutely.
And it almost feels like they're not benefiting from it at all. Obviously, time will tell. Adara, I'd love your input on the CRM report. As we mentioned, there was some good there. They beat on the top and bottom line the current quarter, Adara, but they're down markedly year to date.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really confounding report. Maybe the best example of that was I was with Neil reporting this after the market, and I saw that really rough gap EPS guidance. It's worth noting their adjusted EPS guidance for the quarter and for the year is much better than their gap EPS guidance. So worth noting and maybe something to look into there. But either way, their gap EPS guidance for the quarter came out, and I was like, ugh. And then the stock pops, and that's because we got the buyback news, right? So I think just the sheer glut of information, communicating different things, all being released at the same time. It's a really confounding report. And yeah, I think just because of how mixed it is, it's a little bit hard to, I guess, analyze where to go from here. As Joe kind of said with regards to the direction of the stock. I mean, if you look, though, back at the revenue, again, I will once again pump TTV Research. Over the past 20 years, they've been a public company. This is on a steady trend to the upside. Now, that growth has maybe slowed a bit in recent years, but as Sharif mentioned, the AI is going to be a key part of the story. We have yet to see exactly how investors will react and how it'll be executed, but the growth story is, I don't think, over necessarily yet.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with everything you said, Adara, because it's been a long time. We've been waiting for this company to break out. It's almost a secular downturn that they've been on. We'll have to see how they do. Shout out to Benioff. I like him as a character. All right, guys, I want to bring your attention to INHD. Sorry to digress from the news, but this one is all sorts of strong. It's taking out highs. There's that 682 high. So INHD continuing to be strong here in the midday. If you're into these small cap gappers, probably should keep an eye out on this one. But let's get back to the news. Let's talk about American Eagle soaring on celebrity-driven momentum. So what were they up to? They surged nearly 24%. Where are they at right now? They're up 34%, so another 10%. They're fueled by excitement over their high-profile celebrity campaigns. They still do, though, guys, at least what was reported. They still have a larger short float, 16.6%. I'm assuming some people have been squeezed out with the latest price action, but we won't know for at least a couple of weeks. Despite the rally, AEO shares were down. They were down year to date. Let's find out where they're at right now after the latest move over here. AEO, where are we at? We're up now. Year to date, pardon me?
I was going to say they're positive now.
It's positive, Joey, 12.6%. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how that ends up working, but whatever. Hey. Maybe that number was wrong. But on my platform, 12.66% is what they're up on the day. So what celebrities? Who are these celebrities? Well, they launched a campaign with some person, you may know her, named Sydney Sweeney, as well as another guy that you may know, NFL star Travis Kelce. Tara's booing Travis Kelce.
That's crazy.
So one of the best tight ends ever, but I know why she's booing him. Anyway, the Fall Denim Line's Great Jeans campaign brought in what the company's calling an unprecedented new customer acquisition, according to the chief management officer, Craig Bromers. Additional celebrity types include tennis star Coco Gauff, Jenna Ortega, and Kelsey's True Colors brand. Let's talk about their sales outlook. Joey, they expect comparable sales to rise in the low single digits versus the analyst expectations. They were looking for a 0.3% decline year over year. Their annual sales outlook, they're saying it's going to be basically flat year over year, but that's better than what analysts were looking for, who were looking for 1.1% drop year over year. Last but not least, Joey, you got Running Point Capital Management, Michael Ashley Schulman, noting a 25% spike. Reflects the faith in the marketing-driven momentum heading into the holidays. You also got eToro's Lael Ochner highlighting execution improvement.
Yeah, good stuff. No, honestly, I think with the Sydney Sweeney and Travis Kelce stuff, it's good. It's obviously adding to the pop here in the market. But again, you want to see if that can be sustained. So it's one day you're hot, the next day you're not. So can you continuously get those hot celebrities to come and endorse your brand? And then also, as for margins were improving because when they were doing also when they're doing the promotions, they're doing lower price promotions as well too. So having the ability to hold on to those margins, which is really positive. Exactly. And then also the share buyback, which is eliminating 10% of the diluted share float here, which is also another positive name, which can add some more fuel to this AEO fire. There's no question. Removing 10% of the shares is quite a bit. So completing that buyback is really good stuff. You can't complain. I'll still stick to the narrative that the retail space is extremely hard. But, I mean, you can't argue that they're not headed in the right direction here.
Especially brick and mortar stores, man, who have higher overhead costs than people working offline. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so they definitely have that against them. Adara, I'd love your take on AEO. What's your angle here?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just working on this Rose Garden infographic here, guys, so stay tuned. That should be hopefully coming out by the end of the midday. Let's take a look here. I mean, I do want to mention the trump of it all, for lack of better terms. The jeans are apparently flying off the shelves, as we were promised. So, I mean, congrats there to AEO with that in mind. Now, what I think is interesting is I really want to see the growth going forward, given that likely, if there is any impact from this Travis Kelce and Sydney Sweeney collab, we're probably more likely to see it next quarter, right? Because that we just kind of announced at the end of this quarter. So, I don't know. I think I want to wait and see what happens going forward, because I think given that knockout report, I really think you're just gearing up to do even better when it comes to the fact that we got these announcements fairly recently. So, yeah, I mean, I think American Eagle is probably in a really good place. This quarter was excellent, but I think even going forward, they might be positioning themselves even better. So I think, even with it being as good as it was, I'm looking ahead, and I think the look ahead is bright. Jay Schottenstein, their CEO, was considered a superstar. I trust his leadership, and I think clearly the meme-ishness of the stock lately, for lack of a better term, is going to help as well in terms of having the public eye.
Well said, Adair. Thank you for that. I just want to point out, Joey, INHD is freaking out over here. He just blew through all the levels, 735 high, guys. It's taking out everything, up 50%, Joey. But before you go ahead, I have a question for you.
I was going to ask. I want to ask you and Adair both. So this is a serious question.
Yeah.
For you personally, is there a figure, whether it be an actress, actor, athlete, that is going to drive you specifically to want to acquire a brand? We'll start with you first, Sharif, and then we'll go to Adair, because I'm curious.
Personally, no. The answer to that is no. I don't buy for the brand or for the celebrity endorsement. Now, they may get my attention, if it's somebody that I like and I see him in a commercial, I may pay more attention, but they're not going to make me buy it.
Go out there and go out there and buy it for sure. Adair, how about you?
No way.
No?
No way.
I didn't think so.
I'm not going to do that. I might see a movie if an actor I like is in it. Obviously, I'm going to listen to a song if something comes out. But, if they stay in their lane, I'm cool. I don't want to buy a product specifically because they've released it. I mean, if it's a product I'm actually interested in, maybe, potentially, but I'm not going to go out of my way. And, I don't know. I kind of reject the premise of the question.
Yeah. No.
But grandmother's garden brings up a good point. Maybe Adara won't, neither will I, neither will you.
Yeah.
But maybe your kids will.
Absolutely, and then that's what I was just about to lead to. I think it's more or less of a younger thing, right? You're watching shows, you're watching sports and everything. You're like, oh, he's my favorite athlete. He or she is my favorite actor or actress. I want to go and wear what they're wearing. But for us, I think there's an age limit where it's just like, hey, I could care less what those individuals are promoting or wearing. I'm just going to go out and get it if I like it.
All right, I'm going to get controversial.
Yeah. Do it.
This commercial annoyed a lot of people.
Yeah.
It did.
The one that you're talking about.
Yes, we're talking about the Sydney Sweeney Got Great Jeans commercial.
Yeah.
It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. There was a furious response online. There was an equal response the other way, pushing for the same thing. My question to you is, and Adara, if you would like to chime in, I'd love to hear your opinion as well. No pressure, though. Did the people who were... Okay, here's the question.
Yeah.
Did this antagonize less people than it motivated? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It antagonized a lot of people, so you could say, well, I'm never going to shop at AEO again.
Yeah.
Did the amount of people on the other side that it appealed to, are they greater in number than the people who are antagonized?
No, I'm going to say usually there's more haters in the group than there is
Love
people
to hear that.
to motivate it, right? So
I actually think that people, it was this odd kind of situation where you're seeing all these people stop hating on Sydney Sweeney. But it's weird. I didn't see as many people hating on Sydney Sweeney as I saw people telling people to stop hating on Sydney Sweeney. So I wonder how genuine a lot of the anger is. And by that, I mean, was there actually as much anger towards this ad as we were seeing people claim there was?
For me,
that's my opinion. As someone who reads a vast variety of sources from all the things, I saw a lot more outrage at the outrage, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
That's fair, Adara. But one thing I'm going to say, it's significantly cheaper to type on X and Twitter on how much you dislike it than to walk into the store or go on your app to buy the actual product.
Yeah,
that's actually not a bad point. Right. Yeah. And I want to say something that Assassino said in my ear. There is no response to the haters. Is that what you said? It is a response. My mistake, Assassino. Yes, basically what Adair said. All right, let's go on to the next topic here, Joey. Chinese tech firms are still pursuing these NVIDIA chips despite the pressure by the Chinese regulator not to buy them. So let's talk about this. So Alibaba, ByteDance, Tencent, they were all warned, Assassino, that not to buy these. But we're going to pause for a second and let you know about OGEN, guys. OGEN, each year, about 3.8 million concussions are reported in the United States, yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment for it. The New York Stock Exchange listed Orgenix, listed on the NYSE, under OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach about $8.9 billion by 2027, Orgenix is uniquely positioned to lead the way. If you're interested, learn more and schedule a meeting today. Shout out to Orgenix, guys. All right, so Alibaba, ByteDance, Tencent, they were all told by the Chinese regulators, stay away from the H20. Yet, they remain very eager to secure said H20, even as Beijing discourages such purchases. The firms are apparently closely monitoring NVIDIA's plan for the next generation China-specific chip. I'm talking about that B30A. It's based on the Blackwell architecture, which could actually be, according to reports, 6 times more powerful than the H20. The B30A is expected to cost around double, though, the price of the H20, about $20,000 to $24,000 versus the 10 to 12 that the H20 costs, if approved, obviously, for Chinese sales. Just to give you an idea how much China is important to NVIDIA, they account for 13% of NVIDIA's revenue last year. And if you go back a year before that, it's 20%. And the only reason it's 13 is because of the chip restrictions. The U.S., as we know, has loosened some of those restrictions, allowing NVIDIA to sell a downgraded H20 model to China while striking a deal requiring NVIDIA and AMD to share 15% of their China-based revenue with Washington, of course, putting that money back in the taxpayer's hand. People feel differently about it. I get that. Chinese regulators have summoned, as I mentioned, firms like Tencent, ByteDance to justify the purchases, but have not imposed a ban as of yet on these NVIDIA chips. Domestic rivals like Huawei and Cambricon face limited supply capacity, making NVIDIA's chips more attractive despite the government pressure that's being put on them. Engineers, Joey, at these Chinese tech firms say NVIDIA's chips still way outperform these domestic alternatives in key workloads, keeping that demand strong for NVIDIA's chips. And you had your boy Jensen there reassuring Chinese customers about H20 availability, noting an inventory of about 600 to 700,000 H20 chips are going to be ready to order from Taiwan Semi, and NVIDIA hopes to deliver that newer generation Joey B30A, the samples at least this month in September. So
really? Eh?
Yes.
Wow, that fast?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. Well, Sharif, something's positive. A lot of these Chinese tech companies have the license required to get the H20. Okay. So that's something extremely positive. Now he just needs to start shipping them out. That's obviously going to be more from a regulatory standpoint, but it's good that a lot of the companies already have the licensing permissions so that once the green light is there, he can just start shipping these things as freely as he would like at the end of the day. But with NVDA, we're down about 8.25 there. So that, from the top, from those all-time highs, nothing bad. And what you mentioned yesterday, I seen something. You showed me that it was like 50 billion potentially in potential revenue that can be allocated from the Chinese regarding some of these new chips. Yeah, I heard it was a little bit more too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So I heard it was a little bit more too when I was reading up some things. So if they open the door to China, watch out for NVIDIA because it can head right back into a potential growth cycle, which would be massive for this name.
Adara, this is interesting here. The Chinese regulator, I mean, I'm just making the assumption, has a lot of strength in China, especially with these Chinese tech companies. But they're not outright banning it, Adara. They're dissuading their companies from buying it.
It's a bizarre approach, and I'm going to continue to say, like, honestly, I kind of don't have an opinion on this unless something changes, because you've got this situation, you have like this unrequited love story. NVIDIA wants to sell their chips to China. I think understandably so. I think Jensen Huang has made a very good case for why it's not necessarily a security issue. And then on the flip side, you've got these Chinese tech firms needing and wanting the NVIDIA technology, but China, like, we're not gonna like stop you, but like, we don't really want you to either. Like, we're not gonna sit with you at lunch if you do that, but like, you know, we can't force you to do it. It's just a bizarre take. And honestly, like I said, someone needs to make a decision like flat on some way, and that's all I have to say to that.
Fair enough. Maybe, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Joey.
because they know that they're having trouble with their own chips. The Huawei chips.
And you brought a fantastic point. Is this just a temporary thing
until they get their side right?
Yes, until they get their side right. How do they do that though without ASML and ultraviolet lithography? I want answers to that, right? Unless they're getting somehow their hands on these ASML machines and we don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Neither would I.
There's definitely the routes that they can get it through. So yeah, that's
Ichiro's saying if they can get it right. Yeah. Ichiro, I respect that. But I mean, I haven't seen the Chinese fail at too many things. They're a lot behind, and you try to keep them behind because you want that competitive edge, and I totally get that. But I haven't seen them fail quite yet. And as I always say, excuse me, necessity is the mother of all invention, and they definitely need this. So, but important. I get that. But yeah, I think your point there is well taken, Joey. This is a temporary state of affairs until they feel they're caught up, and then all of a sudden you're going to be like,
People say they're only about 5 years behind. Remember, you asked me that question. Bro. I think they who knows? It could be significantly but if they're having troubles with their best chips, and they're like, hey. As you mentioned, just saying persuading, not saying it's completely cut off, that shows me a little bit of signs of you're in need of something that you don't necessarily have. That.
All right, go ahead, Adair.
Moving here, CFO David Zinsner, who was also briefly their interim CEO, he said, and I'm trying to find the headline here, basically said that their Altera deal is expected to close in the next few weeks. So Intel looking to close that Altera deal in the next few weeks, according to CFO David Zinsner. Nice push up here for INTC, though it's still not above its intraday high. Back to you.
Yeah, we've been hearing about that for a long time, that possible move there. Let's go on to the next stock, Figma. A lot of you will remember this one as an IPO that wasn't that long ago. It was July, so a couple months ago. So they plunged at least in extended trading. It was down 14%. Let's see where it's at right now. We're 17 3/4. Its first earnings report since debuting, obviously, in July. It's down sharply from the IPO debut high of $115.50, but it's still well above the actual IPO price, which is $33. Now, retail didn't get to buy at $33. You had to be, obviously, with the investment banks. Despite the results beating on the top and bottom line, partly we sold off, partly due to concerns about the future growth moderation. So let's talk right about that right now. So initially, Q2 EPS came in at, what was it? Break-even EPS, but there was no estimate off which to base better or worse on revenue of $249.6 million, which beat the $248.8 expected by the street. And they grew revenue 41% year over year, up from $177.2 million that they took home last year. Their net income positive compared with a loss last year, and their adjusted operating income coming in line at $11.5 million. But this is where it all goes south because it's the guidance, right? Q3 forecast, 263 to 265 million for revenue, implying about 33% growth. That's still above the LSEG estimate of 256.8, but their full year guidance coming in a little bit light, 1.02 billion they're guiding for the full year, which is still up 37%. The retention rate, though, slipped slightly to 129 from 132% in Q1, indicating what the company's calling slower expansion within their existing customers. Let's talk about some new launches, Joey, because if they're going to want new customers, they're going to have to incentivize them. So they've got the Figma Make as a new launch, which is an AI-driven app, website design. And you also got Figma Sites, which turns designs into websites, according to the company. They also acquired Modify, which deals in vector graphics, and they acquired Payload, which is a content management website. They're trying to monetize AI, but they're not yet charging for it. They do plan to introduce paid AI credits into their business model soon. They're saying the underlying costs are already built into that model, so you needn't forecast any more revenue CapEx spend. They've already done that. CEO Dylan Field emphasized, Joey, that AI enhances designer value and not replacing them. So they're trying to assuage the fears of the design, like people like Ram and the Chilean Nightmare. You know, this is their bread and butter, baby, and obviously Assassino as well. Let's talk about their financial position. They've got $1.6 billion, including about $90.8 million in Bitcoin ETF, Joey.
Ooh.
Yeah, they got IBIT, baby, trying to diversify their strategy. Here's the lockup, though. So 25% of employee shares were free today. So it's a staged lockup period. With another tranche that's going to get unlocked August of next year. So large investors that are holding over half of the Class A shares of the company agreed to an extended lockup period during the IPO, adding to the stability of the supply. That was really the incentive here. That's the first time I've seen that. I mean, I don't have too much experience in IPOs, but for that staged lockup.
That long period, yeah, it is pretty long. Imagine you just wanted to sell your shares, but you weren't allowed to. But just to add to your point here, so on the slower progress of the company there, Sharif, so the AI investment may pressure margins as Figma prioritizes long-term platform expansion over near-term profitability. But at the end of the day, also high valuations have nearly 200 times forward earnings, which is a lot. And then you have the likes of Adobe, which is trading at 17 times. So these higher valuations, you can definitely see some downward pressure within this name. And let's see what it's been up to from that IPO date. And again, it's like, I think the narrative for a while was as soon as these IPOs go on these crazy runs, just faded. And if you go back in the history of a lot of the names, the high majority of them would just sell off.
Bro, that's
so there's
garbage.
61%. I mean, I don't think we see that previous high right here for quite some time. And you're going to want to see some continuous raise in guidance, less CapEx, and then coming out with the platforms that you say you're going to at the end of the day.
Yeah, well said, Joey. Adara, you reported on this yesterday on the Market Recap Show. What's your take?
Yeah, honestly, I think this IPO, to kind of go off of what Joe said just there, was the beginning of the end, for lack of a better term. So with Circle and CoreWeave, they did eventually have their falls, but they also had really notable rises over at least a sustained period of time. So CoreWeave lasted a lot longer. Circle was a little bit more of a pop and drop. It could happen over about a week or so. We had that crazy push into 300 and then that sell-off, right? But then if you compare those to Figma, Figma had the awesome day one move. It closed near day's highs on day one and then gapped up on day two, and then it just couldn't sustain that. So it's like these moves are becoming even tighter and tighter. And then we've got, after that, we had bullish, which again, popped, couldn't even hold that intraday, and then to the downside. So I think, yeah, I guess it's in terms of the stock perspective, it seems like these IPOs are getting a little bit less and less exciting for the market. Klarna, though, next week, that'll be on Wednesday. That could be exciting. We'll have to see if, people are buying now and paying later for that KLAR IPO. But I also want to mention here, too, the Adobe side of things. Adobe will be reporting earnings next week, next Thursday after the bell. One of the few notable earnings reports next week, other than that and GameStop and Oracle. So we're going to have to wait and see how they report. I think with Figma in mind, Adobe is trading lower today for what it's worth. So yeah, I mean, a little bit of food for thought. I guess,
and one of the reasons Adobe hasn't been doing as well as it has is because they've been disrupted by programs just like this. Great call out there, Adara. Thank you for pointing out Adobe's earnings. If you're involved in the name, obviously make sure to catch that with us next week on the Market Recap Show. Let's go to a company, Joseph, that may have the best ticker in the game.
Yeah.
But I still have no idea what the hell this company does. I haven't seen a product. I know they're involved in AI. I just haven't been involved. So C3 AI is the company we're talking about here. They dropped on weak Q1 earnings and the CEO transition problem that they've been having. So let's start off with it. They fell markedly here in extended trading, more than 14%. Following a weak fiscal Q1 earnings and, as I mentioned, the CEO transition announcement. They've already faced volatility in recent months due to leadership uncertainty and obviously disappointing preliminary results. Speaking of those results, let's get to them. Revenue. What the hell? Okay, I need to know what the market cap of this company is because they're bringing in $70.3 million. It's a $2.2 billion company. What's the forward PE on this thing? I'll do this after, but I need to satisfy my curiosity here. This is crazy. Crazy. Why isn't it showing me? Okay,
I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find it. But you want the PE, right?
Yeah, forward if you can get it. $70.3 million in revenue. That's a huge drop from what they actually brought home last year. 87.2 was what their revenue was last year on the quarter. Significant year-over-year decline, with their GAAP net loss widening to 86 pennies per share loss compared with the 50 pennies they lost last year. So real big miss on the top and bottom line. The results highlight both revenue contraction and mounting operational challenges as their costs continue to grow, but their top line is not growing to justify that. The CEO, Stephen Icahn, who was appointed CEO effective September 1st, replaces the founder, Tom Siebel. Icahn previously built, the new CEO that is, he built and sold 2 tech companies and sold them to CRM, to Salesforce, bringing that experience that they need in scaling. And here's what's happening with the CEO transition. Sadly, the former CEO, Siebel, revealed earlier this year that he was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that caused significant visual impairment. As a result, we saw what Q1 sales did. He called them completely unacceptable and attributed the underperformance partly, Joey, to the restructuring impact. So C3AI.
Yeah, that's not the forward there. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, as for C3AI, isn't there a probe by the SEC from going into these guys? Because that's exactly what I was reading yesterday. So essentially, they had a guidance of around $100 million, $100 million, and then they come in at around $70 million. So apparently, there's a probe within C3AI.
All I'm seeing is a class action suit. I'm not seeing an SEC probe.
Okay. So there's something going on.
I'm not seeing anything to justify.
Regarding the guidance, I was reading on it yesterday. So they forward guided, I think, for Q3 $100 million, and then now it's coming in around $70 million or something along those lines. So they're getting in a little bit of trouble. Again, I know absolutely nothing about the company other than from a technical standpoint. I can't even find the PE here on multiple of my platforms. So that's obviously not a good look as well too. Issues with reporting. So not too good of a look there with C3AI. And from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, this is what I want to show you. Yeah. Look at the recovery. Assassino, if we can show this. So this was yesterday's earning pop. It popped up initially. The algos popped it up to stop everybody else. 17 2/3. Drops all the way down, Joey, to 14-ish. We base out at 14 in the morning. Look where we are now, man. We're like, 3% below yesterday's close. So we're down 3.5%. We were double digits, I believe, in the pre-market. So a bit of a recovery.
Yeah. Not too bad of a recovery, running into some support levels too. So as for what I was referring to earlier regarding what they were reporting for their guidance, what I read in the report, so if you were buying shares anywhere in between February to August, you might be eligible to get I shouldn't say refund, but you might be able to get your money back at some point if you have incurred any losses.
All right, before we go to Adara, INHD is still going, guys. And here we go. We're going to take out the high of the day. There's a 20 seller. So the staunchy little bugger's still there. We don't breach 20, but it feels like this is just a matter of time. And there it is, 826. INHD is the one, at least for now, but be careful with this one. Adara, give me your take here on C3AI. I mean, it was nice recovery off the bottom. I don't know what to say here.
Well, I want to get a little bit more into the CEO transition specifically. So if you saw the market recap, you guys saw me get into this. Here's a photo of the new CEO, Stephen Ahikian. And if you're like, hey, why is he at that desk? It's because he was part of Trump 2.0.
Oh.
So let's get into that, because I think that is really interesting, and specifically the timing of this transition, I have a lot of questions about. So he served as, I guess, the acting administrator of the General Services Administration of the GSA. Then he transitioned to deputy administrator. Now, the timing of his resignation, let's talk about. So on Tuesday, he apparently announced that he was going to be transitioning out, that was the wording he used, of his role at the GSA. Then, when C3AI announces that he's going to be the CEO, they say effective as of September 1st. So was he holding both roles at the same time? And what does transition out mean? Please tell me, Mr. Ahikian. I have a lot of questions. I'm not trying to be whatever, but I think that this is a legitimate thing that I have questions about. And I did, obviously, you guys know me, I did all my due diligence in this. The timing is bizarre. So we're going to have to wait and find out on that. I'm not saying it's like a massive, oh my gosh, gotcha moment. I just think it's a moment. I want more clarity on what that transitioning out process means and when he's actually stepping into power here as CEO, because I do think the people deserve answers. And by people, I mean me. Now, I also want to mention here, too, Thomas Seibel, we kind of knew we were going to get this transition because after that unfortunate guidance they released recently, he did mention that his health issues were unfortunately impeding his ability to run the company. I respect that. He was very open. He understood that, and he stepped down. And so, I just want to give him a moment of he was the founder of the company. He also survived an elephant attack in Africa, which I talked about yesterday in the market recap.
Crazy.
So Thomas Seibel is a tough dude. And I just want to give him a moment. And if I get any more info on Mr. Rahikian, I'll let you guys know, because I think the CRM connection is certainly interesting, but I think also the timing of this transition could be a bit interesting too.
Very interesting take.
Yeah, I feel obviously the health issues suck, but when you guide something and then come in 30% lower, I don't think it's just one individual who's going to put that much weight on a specific company.
I was going to say, too, do you think maybe his connections with the Trump administration help the company currently? Because, he might have, some persuasion or insights. I don't want to speculate, but just having a close tie with the relationship, does that benefit or hurt the company?
Well, what happened with Elon Musk and Doge?
Yeah, well, not everybody's Elon's personality,
right?
though, and
You know
as
what I mean?
mercurial as Elon can be,
it's crazy to think is that, okay, as soon as we heard that Elon was teaming up with Donald Trump and heading into Doge, we thought it was going to be a free ride to the top on Tesla, and it was literally the polar opposite.
Well said.
So
well said. Let's go on to the next story. Apple set to raise iPhone prices for the first time in 7 years. You may not have felt that because they're already expensive. Morgan Stanley expects Apple to increase iPhone prices for the first time since 2017. Analysts project a $100 premium for the new iPhone 17 Air as compared with the 16 Plus. The iPhone 17 Pro will see, apparently, the removal of lower storage SKUs. So you're going to start at the 256 gig model. They're apparently not going to offer 128 anymore. We'll have to see. There's also going to be a 1 terabyte version of the Air. It's also expected the price for that bad boy, a lofty $1,400 US. This is supposed to be the Air, not the Pro Max. Give it a break. Jeez, Apple. Morgan Stanley estimates average selling prices, ASPs, will rise about 5% year over year for full year 2026. When we're talking about the iPhone, analysts see the hikes as earnings positive tailwinds, not demand killers. That's their opinion. We'll have to see how the market ends up digesting that. Importantly, though, Apple's customer base tends to amortize the device over 2 to 3 years, myself included, meaning that the increases in the price on the top line won't be felt as much if you're amortizing it month over month. That's the argument. Whether you agree with it or not, that's your take. Let's talk about what we're expecting here, Joey. The iPhone 17 Air will mark Apple's first major form factor change in 5 years, boasting an ultra-thin design. It's also going to have an in-house C1 modem. No longer looking for Qualcomm on that. That's a move by Apple to kind of even be more vertically integrated. And it's going to have only a single rear camera, which is what we talked about on the morning show. Alongside the iPhone, though, Apple expected to drop the Apple Watch Series 11, the Apple Watch Ultra 3, the Apple Watch SE 3, and the AirPods Pro 3, in addition to obviously the new Apple lineup. And then Apple AI. This article actually agrees with what Adair said yesterday. Adair said they're basically going to try to avoid talking about AI. And that's what this article is saying. It's saying Apple's AI strategy is a key investor focus. Morgan Stanley does not expect major announcements on Apple Intelligence at the September 9 event. The emphasis, Joseph, likely to remain on hardware upgrades.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, Sharif. I don't know. Every year we get a new hardware upgrade. Is it that drastically different? I don't know. The battery on the 16 is pretty good. I think it's the best battery that the iPhone's ever had. I very rarely have to charge this thing. But again, we're just waiting for something new. And the question is, I really like what Katina Mann said this morning. You can listen to him, and I'll let him speak for what he obviously mentioned up, but I think that's been the narrative for a while, and now it looks like somewhat of a genius play. Again, we still got to be patient. You want the Siri upgrade. It is hot garbage. There's no beating around that bush, but at the end of the day, it's just okay, how many more times and how many more years is this sustainable? Is that you're just coming out with a new piece of hardware that's, it's thinner, it's lighter, you're getting a better camera. How long is that sustainable for? And I mean, it's been going on with Apple for quite some time, but eventually you need to have those software updates, because that's what's really a game changer in my opinion.
That's interesting. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's it can't be just that same handheld device. But what I was thinking, Joey, and I've been thinking about this for a while, if they get into the wearables, I'm talking about glasses form factor, do you think maybe they keep a sleek glass design, connect it with the iPhone, keep the hardware and processing on the iPhone itself so that you can keep a lighter design. Because we saw those those Meta Orions when they were huge because they had to fit all that, stuff inside.
I think that's a genius idea, and I think if you can get along those lines when you have these new, obviously, devices that you can implement and connect to the Apple ecosystem, it's only better for them, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Guys, INDH is still going. Another high a day, 874. It's now up 78, 80%. Looking to take out more. INHD is still going here during the midday, guys. Adair, I'd love your take on Apple. Do you expect any curveballs, or is this just going to be business as usual? Here's a new iPhone. Here are the new other wearables. Go buy them.
Yeah, I mean, I made my opinions pretty clear yesterday. I think that the smartest thing for them to do is just not mention AI. Unless they're going to have some groundbreaking AI announcement, which I don't think they will, then they need to zip their lips. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything. We saw that at the last event. They mentioned AI only to say, oh, well, it's going to come next year, and the market dropped. Or like not the market, but Apple stock. So I just think they're smarter to not mention it at all unless there's something massive. We're going to have to wait and see. I've been doing some research. There is a massive infographic series to come on this, but I went back to 2007, the launch of the first iPhone, and the week of these events, Apple does actually tend to trade lower, like the vast majority of the time. So, like, just on the week. So I'll have to, again, when I have the data done, I'll let you guys know. It's not completed yet, but yeah, it's a lot more negative of a picture than I was expecting. And even when we do have green weeks, they're very marginal, especially compared to the extent of the losses. So we're going to have to wait. Again, when I have more data on that, I'll keep you guys posted. But that's my take. And yeah, I think we're just going to keep seeing analyst opinions, and they're probably going to all basically be more or less the same right up and until September 9th.
To add to Adair's point there, I think it's best that they don't mention AI. And what Dan Ives said is that he has a better chance of making the NBA than essentially them getting it right.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he actually said
that. Come on, Joey, that's not fair, man.
Dan Ives said that he has a better chance of making the NBA than Apple getting it.
He needs to stop with these sports analogies and the hard analogies. He always repeats them. He recycles them. Dan.
Yeah.
Messi.
Shut up, Dan.
Well, that's what he called. Well, that's what he was calling.
Joking. I like Dan Ives.
Well, that's what he was calling Palantir. He's like, Palantir is the Messi of AI, essentially. And he was just going in. It's like he always uses the innings. You're in the first, second inning, early stages, whatever it may be. But he said that. He said essentially he has a better chance of making the NBA than Apple getting it right in-house. So.
This is stupid. Okay, I love him. I like him. I like his choice of clothing. Not for me, but for him. But I don't agree with that, Joey. Guys, I want to bring your attention to Open Door. It is back into the high of the day, 578, making a new area high. I see you guys in the chat chiming about Open Door. Good look right now, up 11 2/3%. Keep your eye out on this one. Open Door. All right. I just want to pause for a second, Joey. Remind everybody to get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. There's Open right there with 140. Second only to Tesla at 105, then NEON with 56. The only way to have your vote registered, though, guys, get into that chat, throw in the $ and whatever ticker you like, and persuade your friends to vote your way as well, because only the top 5 will make it on. Shout out to Fabian.
One thing here before we move on to the next thing. Okay, so Lululemon reporting after the bell here, guys, putting in a new high of the day, as some individuals mentioned. I just want to go over a couple of these reporting names here. Still hovering around these levels, but if you take a look at this from a daily, not too bad, right? So you're only down a couple of percentage points from that, so about 4%, a little bit less than that, Sharif. Leading into tonight's
report, Joey.
Pardon me.
It's going to be a big report.
I think so. Yeah, it's going to be massive, right? Considering it's one of the only names. So, and then Docu, that is in $1 trillion club. DocuSign. It's really hot garbage, and I thought it would be a little bit hotter garbage.
Sharif. Weekly.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Hopefully it works. Yes. All right. So it's always a win. I mean, this is what happens when you peak in COVID, essentially, right? Exactly. So. I mean, I'm surprised to see it up to even these levels, $313, but you're still down 76%. I don't know if these names will ever have the ability to recover off of some of these lows.
No,
I just don't. I don't. Yeah,
and
exactly.
You just have to come to terms with that.
With those losses, right? It's like my Aurora Cannabis I'm just holding on to a glimmer of hope. but unfortunately, Hopium will be.
Hopefully, I'm cheering for you on that one. I am. I'm cheering for you, Joey.
What do I need it? What do I need it to go to? Like $1,600.
$1,600 bucks.
Yeah,
it's not that bad, bro.
Yeah, it's trading at like $4 after multiple reverse splits. Yeah, good luck, man.
Let's talk about Amazon expanding their fintech footprint in India with the AQST acquisition. So Amazon has completed. Amazon's the best performing Meg 7 name far and away, 3 3/4. Katina Man was involved in that one this morning. They've completed the acquisition of a Bangalore-based non-banking lender named AQST for an undisclosed amount. The Reserve Bank of India, who had to approve this deal, approved it back in July, finalizing the process that began back in December, so not a moment too soon. The acquisition here gives Amazon access to direct lending license in India, so you have to have a license for that, enabling it to lend directly to consumers and businesses. So what does AQST do? So it's a 12-year-old fintech lender. They provide digital credit and money management solutions to retail customers and small businesses. So the firm had a loan book of around 22 million rupees, which is about 251, a little bit more $1 million as of June of this year. They also partnered, Joey, with Amazon back since 2018 to offer credit and pay later products. So they've already had a good and existing business relationship with Amazon to the tune of 7 years, and now they're being acquired. What's the strategic move here, though, for Amazon for this acquisition? So the direct lending license allows Amazon to bypass the partnerships that they would otherwise have to have with these Indian banks and capture a larger share of the lending profits at the buy now, pay later process. And Amazon plans to offer loans at checkout to expand the credit products that are currently being offered by AQST. And most e-commerce platforms in India rely on partnerships with banks or non-bank lenders. So this will give Amazon sort of that vertical integration, for lack of a better term, to now have the advantage of direct lending control rather than having to partner with an Indian bank and give some of the products. The broader fintech expansion here has been noted by Amazon. They also secured approvals in India to issue payment wallets and sell insurance policies on its platform. I don't know, Joey. I don't know what they're doing in India. But when I'm buying or I'm looking, I should say, for insurance, my first move is not Amazon. It could change over time,
absolutely.
But currently not.
No, I don't think so either. It's a different move. But one thing to note, Sharif, is that you're slowly starting to see some of these bigger names creep their way into India. Right, so you see in the likes of Tesla, Apple opening up some stuff there as well too. They have Apple stores now, and then now you're starting to see Amazon, some of these hyperscalers step into obviously completely something different. But hey, it's America just broadening its customer base, and it's good to see. Amazon's price target has been absolutely fantastic. I don't know much about Axios, but as for Amazon, not bad. You're not going to complain about this when the other mag names are continuously selling, and you have the likes of Microsoft and Amazon outperforming them throughout from an intraday standpoint. And think about it, Amazon still hasn't even put in a new all-time high. So when we're talking about the catch-up trades between Google, Apple, and Amazon, Amazon's right there, but only 3% off of those previous all-time highs.
All right, Adara, this is, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a small market because India is quite a large market. Is this a needle mover for Amazon anyway?
I don't really think so. I think the bigger move for Amazon in terms of why it's up on the day was we had that report from Business Insider basically suggesting that apparently Amazon's trying to step up their game, quote unquote, with their AI agents. So I think that probably is the reason it's moving. We had some other catalysts too on Amazon. You can check them all out on basically our watch list in the morning, but Semi-Analysis, which is, as the name kind of implies, a website that focuses on analyzing semiconductors. They had, I guess, a report that was circulating around X. I didn't see it circulate, but apparently some traders were talking about it with regards to Amazon and some data center ambitions. So I think those two AI-related catalysts are probably the reason for the move. BNPL is hot. We just talked about Klarna. It's, I think, certainly, if we are going to say, hey, this catalyst is moving it, you can make the argument for that, but I think probably for Amazon as a company and also for today, I think AI is the bigger needle mover.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's talk about Tesla. Interesting report out of China today with Tesla. They've received, guys, over 120,000 orders for their new Model Y L. They're calling that in China. They launched it last month, so this new Model Y is averaging about 10,000 orders per day. The Model Y L, in case you don't know, is a 6-seater version, so 3 rows of a variant, obviously, of the regular Model Y that we have here. It's priced at around $47,150 US. I don't know what that is.
What's that, brother?
And it features an 84 kilowatt battery, so gives it an extended driving range of around 391 miles, so just shy of 400. It's a bit of a wider body, so they're able to fit a bigger battery on that bad boy, which may move the needle for people in China. We'll have to wait and see. They announced also, Tesla that is, a price cut earlier this week on the Model 3, the sedan's long-range trim. They reduced the price of that bad boy by about 3.7%. They continue, sadly, to face a slowdown in sales in China, with registrations down about 27.7% year over year during the week of August 18th to 24th. So that's the very specific window that 27% drop accounts for. Deutsche Bank, though, they say their data shows Tesla sold about 54,000 units in August in China, which is up 29% from July, but still down year over year for August. When you compare it to 24, about 17% year over year drop on the month. And BYD, bro, you think they're going to stop? They're not going to stop. The Chinese EV BYD, they actually cut their 2025 annual sales target down to 4.6 million units, despite the company reporting a 30% increase in profits. The reduced target, though, Joey, highlights the concerns over slowing demand for EVs in China. We already saw that, race to the bottom by these Chinese EV makers, each one undercutting the other and kind of dropping the price, so much so that it pissed off the Chinese regulator, who told the Chinese EV companies, stop freaking doing that. Stop racing to the bottom. Get these prices under control. So we'll tell you more about that after we tell you about this.
All right, guys, new traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning-fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data. Global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code. Check the link in the description, guys. There it is.
There it is. So what's your take on this, Joey? So they got
give me a breakdown of
the Model Y.
Okay, yep.
It's it's a bigger Model Y in China, 3 rows, 6 seats. Longer range.
Good, right? I think that's what you want to see from Tesla. You want to see them come out with some new models. Obviously, the much anticipated Model 2. When does that come out? We don't know. Where has the Roadster been? We have no idea. That thing is in the abyss somewhere. But at the end of the day, I think it's in order to compete with some of these Chinese EV companies, you want to have them, you want to go neck to neck in models. You want to be able to give the lowest price as well, too. And can they do that with their current outstanding fleet? I don't know. I think that Model 2 is going to be a big time game changer. But I think so you mentioned before that it's going to be a record number of, deliveries or purchases for Tesla?
That's what's being predicted? on Kalshi. I didn't personally see that, but Katina Man saw that.
Yeah, which I find extremely interesting. I don't know where, from a geographical standpoint, where that is, considering
Norway.
You're lying.
There's 5.5 million people in the country. I'm exaggerating.
Oh, I was gonna say. I thought you were being dead serious there. No, but I think it's tough. Yeah, it's great for all of that. But when you have California registrations down 20%, you have registrations across Europe absolutely gone into a black hole and almost essentially non-existent from its previous growth cycles, I think is a tough space. It's Model 2 autonomy, and robotics for me and Tesla. And the reason why BYD and some of these other Chinese EV makers are seeing this exponential growth within Europe is because they're relatively new as well, too. So you got to give them that credit, right?
Adara, if we get, say, a video of the Model 2, something leaks, Adara. Someone flies a drone over, I don't know, let's just go with Austin. And it leaks and it makes its way around X. Do you think we move bigly on that, or the Model 2, it's going to be a lower margin product? And,
I think the stock probably moves in the reaction, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't see anybody on Tesla Bull Twitter talking about this today.
Nope.
So I think it's an interesting story here with regards to, there's clearly interest in China, but I think the fact that one of their competitors that has proven themselves really strongly, BYD, has that guidance concern, I think that should be a concern a bit for Tesla too. Because they are a competitor who's generally, at least as of late, show that they're able to outperform Tesla. So they're struggling, ... I don't know. We'll have to wait and see here for TSLA. But yeah, I do not, unless there's like a video where I can like, prove it's not AI and there is a car or like, someone drives me to Austin and I'm like, oh, hey, hi, Model 2, how are you doing? I don't know. I have a lot of qualms. I am full of qualms with regards to
we're almost
this.
at the end of the dang year. And they were supposed to scale this thing at the end of the year. Apparently, he's already produced it. Adara, I demand to see a picture of this.
He didn't produce it.
I know.
What about the Roadsters? 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah, no. No.
Do you know that he wants to put rockets on that thing? Like not actual like rockets like on a spaceship, but like these like thrusters so that he can get it under 0 to 100 in 1 second, which is insane. 0 to 60 for my American friends. Yes.
For the Roadster?
Yes, it's insane.
And I think, so like with regards to that too, to go back to the question you asked me, will the stock move on it? I think if we get a photo, it'll absolutely move. We saw it moved on the Model 2. That earnings report was atrocious, but Elon said, oh, the Model 2. Same with what happened with regards to the Roadster. So I think we will get an immediate positive reaction. Does that mean we get a vehicle? No, it doesn't. Because Tesla is very hype-driven as a stock, and that is not to insult the company. I'm not saying it's meritless, but I'm saying a lot of these reactions you have to remember are tied a lot to who Elon Musk is. A lot of people who are very heavily into Tesla, and I say this as someone who, again, is super, super in tune with Tesla Bull, Twitter, a lot of these people, the start of their bio, Elon Musk fan, Tesla lover, right? The Elon Musk often comes first.
They got the goggles on.
Exactly. I'm saying the rose-colored glasses are very strong, and I just want to put that out there, and I'm not trying to be a hater of Tesla or Elon or anything. I just want to make that point.
You're just like a show me the proof is in the pudding kind of thing. Yeah,
yes, that's what I was.
That's fair.
Go ahead, Joe.
And then wasn't he talking about the Roadster in 2018?
Oh, he's been talking about. There's one floating around in space. He launched one into space.
Is that what he did? Is that what he? Was that what it was? A Roadster? I thought it was like a
Roadster in space, Joey, floating around as we speak.
Okay, well, it's in the wrong area. We need it on Earth, first of all. So what good is it up there for any of us? And do you know? In all seriousness, this is a serious question. Yeah. Do you think that there's a chance that we actually don't see the Model 2?
There is a chance for anything.
Right?
Yes, but if he doesn't deliver on that, what kind of sales hit are we talking about? Unless, Joseph, he's going to completely kind of move away from EVs and focus on
robotaxi.
Robotaxi and robots and whatever else he wants to get into. We'll have to wait and see what he's got in his mind.
Now, obviously, with him being optimistic on his timelines, when do you actually think we start seeing robotaxi, like more of the actual two-door, steeringless?
Okay, great that you brought that up. I don't know the answer to that, but so Jay Leno's Garage has a new video out, not endorsing them, but I like watching it. They got the chief designer and the chief engineer of the Model S Plaid with Jay Leno so that they can give him the goods and he can ask him the questions. And Joseph, when they were talking about robotaxi, one of the engineers corrected himself and used a phrase that wouldn't like violate the regulations because again they don't have approval for it in California, but they're doing it anyway. We know they're in the Bay Area doing this, but they don't have approval, so they had to call it something else. So you could see himself correcting himself. So there's like all these like little things within the company. So that's one. Two, I think we're going to get a staged launch, so you'll see like exactly what Waymo's doing, these geographically fenced areas, and then you'll see maybe more autonomy with the actual FSD that comes in as it improves. We're on version 4.0, and then you'll see. I like the licensing agreement because all these companies like Ford and GM that don't really have these really good self-driving systems, they could lease these things, they could license them. Off Tesla. That's what I'm thinking.
I think I'm curious to see as for the models as well too, because we know that Waymo goes off of LiDAR, and then you have the camera system behind Tesla. Is that going to still be a major factor in whether you can have a steering wheel-less vehicle and having individuals?
That's going to take huge regulatory changes because I think a car needs to come with a steering wheel now.
So whenever Elon said that he's going to start selling these things, probably add another 3 to 4 years on top of that.
Yep.
I agree.
Right. So
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about we'll skip this one. Let's hit this. Google hit with a $425 million privacy verdict. That probably takes, 0.00001 off their bottom line. A federal jury in San Francisco ordered Google to pay about $425 million after finding it continued to collect user data despite tracking settings being turned off on the phone. The plaintiffs had sought over $31 billion in damages, but the jury determined Google did not act with malice, meaning no punitive damages were awarded. Punitive damages are to teach the person a lesson, not actual damages suffered by the claiming party. The decision covers allegations of 8 years of unauthorized data collection violating privacy assurances that were made on Google's web and app activity setting. Here's what the case is. So the class action lawsuit was filed back in July 2020. It represents about 98 million Google users. Over 174 million devices were involved. And the lawsuit alleges that Google continued, as I mentioned, to gather data via relationships with apps like Uber, Venmo, Instagram, which use its analytical tools. A U.S. District Court judge previously certified the case as a class action, expanding its scope, significantly. Google defended themselves, obviously. They argued that the data collection was non-personal, pseudo-anonymous, encrypted, and stored securely with no links to individual users' identities. The company, for their part, maintained it did not violate privacy rights and continues denying wrongdoing despite the jury's ruling. So the wider regulatory context here, Joseph, is that they had a $1.4 billion settlement in Texas earlier this year over the state law violations, and they also had an April 2024 settlement requiring them to destroy billions of private browsing records related to that incognito mode in Chrome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, Sharif, it's chump change for these guys, right? At the end of the day, it's chump change. It's not going to be a big-time needle mover, especially what we got going on here now. They're going to be able to just feed money to Apple and to Samsung and some of these handheld devices, and I think they'll be okay. They're going to be the primary search engine for quite some time until you see some other names like the likes of Perplexity and ChatGPT starting to pay Apple as well, too, and then you're going to see maybe somewhat of a change. But as for that, one thing that no one really ever talks about is Gmail with Google and how popular it is, and essentially how every American account is under a Gmail. So we got obviously within the ETF, we have YouTube. It's crazy that I'm calling this name an ETF, but if you look at it, you got Waymo, you got YouTube, you have the whole Google Mail ecosystem, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then now the judge essentially ruling in their favor. They have to share their data. That's again, that sucks for them. But at the end of the day, as long as they fork up $20 billion to each individual phone provider or manufacturer, I think this name's going to be just fine.
All right. Okay. I don't think it's going to hurt them financially, Joey.
No.
Just, it could raise the wrong attention or get the wrong attention.
Absolutely.
Privacy is kind of big.
It's big right now, considering all the approvals that you need for these AI apps and everything along those lines. People want to keep their privacy, but again, you have to give it up to some point if you're going to allow your phone to take care of everything for you.
Yeah, and like, how many times have you and I joked the phone is listening? You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden you're talking about something you see an ad. Like, you joke about it, but it happens a lot.
It's real. Yeah, it's legitimate. So.
All right, Adara, what's your take on this $425 million verdict? You think Google appeals, or just pay it and put it behind and forget about it?
I don't know why they would appeal. Like, I mean, I get it. You want to preserve your integrity, but hey, you don't have to pay $31 billion. So that's good. I think the story's a bit of a nothing burger. Truthfully, I put it in the watch list because it does involve Google in a legal case, but I don't think, like, let me look at Google stock. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it did much to Google stock. It's a story worth noting, but is it a story that will, I think, drastically impact Google forever and ever? I don't think so.
Agree. All right, let's go. Well, we'll see. You know, I don't want to get the regulator all in a tizzy. Let's talk about Huawei. Obviously, not a tradable stock in North America, but very much influencing the state of technology. They've released a second-gen tri-fold smartphone. So if you missed the first one, here is what it kind of looks like. It's basically just a little phone that opens up, and you have a huge screen in the middle. I'm just trying to find better pictures of it here. Sorry, Assassino, give me 1 quick second. Maybe I just got to go to Google Pictures. There we go. Speaking of Google. So it's this bad boy over here. They're dropping a new version. They dropped it last year. People are selling it on Facebook Marketplace that bought it from China for like 3,500 Canadian dollars. Obviously, I'm not interested. But this is an interesting development. When is the Jacob's Ladder version? I know what the Jacob's Ladder is, Fabian, only because I go to the gym a lot. All right, I do know what that one is. All right, pull up. All right, let's talk about this. So Huawei launched the second generation of its tri-fold smart called the Mate XTs as it pushes to solidify its comeback in China and cautiously re-enter markets overseas. You'll recall that Trump 1.0 put a chip restriction on Huawei, so they couldn't get their hands on these 5G chips, so they really fell off and they couldn't keep up with the likes of Samsung and Apple, and they're trying to make a comeback now. Unlike typical foldables with a single hinge, the Mate X Pro, the Mate XT, has two hinges, allowing it to fold at 2 points and expand into a tablet-like device. So it ends up being pretty big. Huawei has seen a resurgence in China's smartphone market, reaching 18% market share in Q2 of this year, up from 15% last year, making it the largest smartphone vendor in China. They are king, you know what, in China. In the foldable phone category, they command a dominant 75% share of the Chinese market for foldables. The first generation Mate XT sold 470,000 units since the launch last year, generating $1.3 billion in revenue, highlighting the strong demand despite its premium pricing. Joey, before we just go on about a stock we can't trade, let me ask you about this, and let me ask you about foldables. What's your move? What's your opinion?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I watched the Marquise Brownlee thing on this specific device. It looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. Do I want one? No, personally. It's essentially like an iPad folded up in your pocket. It looks great, but I don't need to be glued to my phone or any other device more than what I currently am. So for me personally, it's fantastic. I don't know how much demand personally. We could go around the room and see if people would start to grab a foldable phone. My answer is going to be no personally, because I'm good with what I have.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I'm interested to see if I like it. The price point's going to make a big difference, Joey.
Time.
Hardware, if they're going to have to scale down the chips and storage and cameras to make it all fit, that would be a needle mover for me as well. If I had to
thickness within your pocket as well.
Yeah,
too.
man. There's
a lot of hardware stuff that you got to take into consideration, right? So but see, the thing is that when I was watching the review, it's essentially seamless. It looks pretty good, right? So you can you can turn it around. It rotates with you. You close one of the screens. Everything transitions onto it with the other two that are left open. So it looks pretty cool.
Can I make another argument for it?
Yeah.
I've never even seen it in person. Yeah. So these foldables, Assassino, the thing about them is they open into a book. So it's like a square if they only have two screens. The three screens makes it into that widescreen tablet, so it's nicer for watching movies.
Exactly what I was
saying.
And it rotates with you. Like you can rotate it and everything along those lines. And it seems relatively seamless. It's cool. I don't know if that's the direction that we're going to be heading in for the long term, right? Because that's a bigger device. I think people are looking for smaller, more compact glasses, essentially what I'm getting at. So for me personally, or something like a projectable, I think would be pretty cool from a watch. But I don't know.
Something new.
Yeah, something new, not necessarily. That's essentially an iPad in your pocket.
It is. It is. And I don't mind that whole thing. Adara, what's your take on this Huawei thing? Are they finally catching up, or is this a novelty item that doesn't move the needle? However you want to cover it.
I was just swallowing some salad. Yeah, I think in terms, excuse me.
Okay.
In terms of the foldable phone, I think that, I just got an SC last year, so I'm behind the times. I'm not one to comment.
That's okay.
I will say, Huawei has proven that they're decent at, following the curve. I think at least in China, the foldable phone seems to be pretty hot, for lack of a better term. So I wonder if, to transition this back to Apple, if and when Apple releases a foldable phone that I believe Ming-Chi Kuo has, mentioned as a possibility, will that be the surge Apple needs to be competitive in China again? That's where I'll take that.
I like that.
But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, Apple's got to get their ducks in a row. Good point. All right, let's go on to the next one. Nasdaq tightening rules for Chinese IPO amid rising U.S.-China tensions. Oh no, less of these small cap gappers that are from China with a 500,000 share float. So the Nasdaq plans to require China-based companies to raise at least $25 million in IPOs to list on the exchange, targeting really these micro-cap listings that have only raised a few million. I happen to like them because they're small cap gappers. The move comes after a surge of 35 small Chinese IPOs in 2024, nearly double the number of U.S.-based microcaps. So clearly something was afoot there. Nasdaq said the rules address concerns of the pump and dump schemes tied to low-float Chinese listings. Hello, I happen to like them, which pose a higher risk, of course, to U.S. investors. They're around for a good time, not a long time, guys. The existing IPO applicants will have 30 days to complete listings under the old rules. New applications, however, must comply with the revised threshold. I'm not going to go on about this. Joseph, is this a political move? Or is there an actual concern by the exchange that they don't want these investors to get rich?
Well, the timing is awfully convenient, right? So you got to take that into consideration. I mean, obviously the SEC, I guess, is looking out for your best of interest in that aspect. But for me personally, wasn't the SEC looking at delisting BABA and some of the other Chinese ADRs here for some time? There's some talks about that at the height of the tariff tensions and everything along those lines. But at the end of the day, if people want to speculate and trade some of these names, it's their capital. I think you should let them just, again, you got to go use at your own risk, essentially, at the end of the day, man.
All right. Go ahead, Adara. Give me any takes on this. I mean, it's not the biggest story.
Yeah, I don't think it's political because, and there are certain people on X who've pointed this out, but there are these like Chinese stocks that'll make these disgusting drops randomly, like 70% down one day, no news out of the blue. So I think the political argument is a bit harder to make. Yeah, I think it's a little bit harder to make when you consider that. Fair. Now, the one thing I will also say is that we know even with like the U.S. government, I believe Scott Bessent even said when asked a question that as of right now, the U.S. isn't considering delisting these ADRs. So I think for right now, they're not taking that fight, for lack of a better term, into the stock market. Times can change, but I think right now they're probably going to stay out of that. We don't have any reason to think otherwise.
That's fair. This could be a first step. There's many more steps to go in an escalation if one does happen. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so you're not allowed to rug pull these Chinese ADRs, but the president's allowed to make Trump coin and you have Palantir coin, and you're allowing people actually here allowing them to rug pull. Yeah, that's a totally fair play.
Joey, INHD is going to halt at 9:37. Here we go. This thing's up 96%. A couple of more seconds at this level, we'll get a gray out here on the level 2. INHD, it's been above VWAP the entire day, and there it is, halted to the upside, 937. The top showing me 980. Keep your eye on this one. INHD is the ticker, big mover on the day. Last story here, Joey. Let's go on before the big boys get on. Trump is hosting a big tech and business leader shindig at the White House, where he's doing a dinner. So U.S. President Donald Trump will host an inaugural dinner event in the renovated Rose Garden on Thursday, bringing together 24 high-profile tech and business leaders. The event follows a separate White House artificial intelligence meeting hosted earlier in the day by First Lady Melania Trump. The gathering signals the administration's continued effort to court these tech leaders, remember them, at the inauguration, shaping AI and reshoring agendas. Here are some of the invitees. It might be more interesting who wasn't invited, but let's get to it. Include Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, Apple's Tim Cook, a Microsoft founder, obviously Billy Gates. We got Sam Altman of OpenAI. Other notables are going to be Greg Brockman. He's the OpenAI president. Google co-founder Sergey Brin. Palantir CEO Shyam Sankar. Meta superintelligence lead Alexander Wang. Adair was telling me about that. Google Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Safra Katz, and Micron's David Limp are also expected.
CNBC did a typo there. I just want to clarify. David Limp is not the CEO of Micron. He is the CEO of Blue Origin, though both David Limp and Sanjay Mehrotra, who is the CEO of Micron, they both are invited. I just want to clarify because I saw that CNBC and I looked into it.
So it's important to point that out. Is there a name in that list there, Joseph, that
we're missing?
You know, that's missing there that you thought maybe included?
Well, I thought our good friend there, the creator of the Model 2 and the Roadster, would definitely be in that one. But it seems that we are missing Mr. Musk himself.
So yes, Elon Musk not invited. That's the second time that happens. Biden shafted him for the EV summit. He's getting shafted again over here. But if I was Donald, did you want Elon, around after that whole thing? But anyway, the dinner underscores Trump's, complicated but increasingly cooperative relationship with big tech. Many executives have aligned with the administration's priorities on emerging technologies and the reshoring of manufacturing. Some don't, obviously. The meeting reflects, Joey, the White House strategy for leveraging these high-profile industry partnerships. We know Donald Trump likes to be around these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. You want those big boys, and that's why America's the largest economy on the planet. You have these tech giants, and Donald Trump wants to be right at the forefront of that. So good for him, and it's unfortunate. I'm surprised that Elon hasn't. Has Elon X'd or anything that he's not invited to the dinner?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the tweet of the X's or
whatever he's gonna do, right? Because he was mad. So what happened? So what happened with the EV summit? He wasn't invited, but also like it was like the Ford CEO.
Bro.
It's like at the end of the day,
Biden called Mary Barra like the game changer in EVs.
Yeah,
She's selling 2 a year, bro. Like call the guy who's selling a million of these a year. I mean, I didn't get that. But.
So I'm just waiting for the X post of him to say, hey, yeah. How come I'm not there? And his rant, he's probably going to say release the files or something along those lines. Oh, God, yeah. At that, so.
What's going on over there, Katina, man? How are you, brother?
It wasn't him. It wasn't Katina,
that wasn't Katina, man?
It was Assassino.
Oh, it was Assassino. All right, guys. Adara, give us your take on this super quick. Everything's going good, though.
Yes, I shall quickly give a take. And one thing I do want to mention is, hey, guys, this infographic is going to be coming out soon. I just finished it just in time for this conversation. I very quickly worked on it. So here's everybody who's getting invited. I was going to have Elon Musk sadly peeking his head out, but unfortunately, that did not work with my design for this. So I kind of organized it. We've got a lot of CEOs of public companies. We've got quite a few miscellaneous tech leaders or CEOs of private companies. And then you also have my little corner of founders of companies that are no longer, with said company necessarily. So this is a super organized list. It's not yet on X at TTV Research, but it will be very soon. So check that out. In terms of my opinions on this event, I will say I intentionally looked on Tesla Bull Twitter or X to find out if people were complaining about Elon getting invited. They weren't. So with that in mind, I think the reason, and I haven't even seen Elon talk about it, so I think the reason the EV, I guess him being shunted from that was a bigger blow was because EVs are what he at least initially I think was really well known for, right? And yes, he's obviously a tech leader, but I don't think he's as synonymous with that as he
was for EVs, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? So I think that's probably why the Tesla bull community hasn't freaked out, and I think also why we haven't seen much response yet from Elon.
Yeah, all right. Well, time will tell. Thank you, Adara. As we wind down the show, Joey, I can't wait for the commentary tomorrow or during the event. I'm going to be on X having a look there at what your boy Elon is going to say. But I'm going to, send it off to you.
I was going to put a quote, but I think it's pretty deep, and I'm not going to say that. But I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'm off tomorrow. It's going to be Sharif and Obi. And, I'm going to be at a wedding. So,
But Sean's also gone, right? So Okay, we'll find out, I guess.
We'll figure that scheduling out. But I'm going to be at a wedding bright and early in the morning. And as for giggles, you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning. So there you go. We're having a good time. It's wedding season. Let's have fun, guys.
All right, guys. One last thing. INHD halted again to the upside, 1054. This thing is up bigly. Keep your eye on INHD. Huge breakout on this one. The big boys, though, they're that way.